have to mention that the Circle was a 5th player for you.
Yeah, I mean, but that's the way it goes. That's the way this game goes. When you get those zones, you got to take full advantage of it. When you don't get the circles, you still need to put up some points regardless. And one team that did that was the Falcons, right? Absolutely. They were not gifted zones by any means necessary, but they just pushed through every single squad with a just relentless dedication, and they were just taking out team after team after team. They should have been out like 2 zones before that, but they got it done.
They took some bold decisions. They went west, they went back east, they made some rotations in order to put themselves in those squad fight situations. They dropped with Team Spirit. I'm pretty sure both of these rosters knew that that was going to happen, right? There's no way that you come into this tournament oblivious. We saw it on some of the prep.
That's right.
Coming on in. Teams knew that was going to happen, so they wanted that fight. Team Spirit did not know what hit them. They were not ready for it.
I mean, it was just gone just like that. So I don't know what they're going to do. Team Spirit need to find a way to bounce back because they didn't have the warm-up that Team Falcons did against most of these squads, and they got taken out within just 2 minutes. So they were just cooling off this entire time. Hopefully we can see them heat up here in a bit.
Absolutely. Team Spirit, I'm waiting for them to switch it on for this next match. But before we go to that, we're going to go to a quick break. Do not go anywhere because the survival stage will continue in a few.
4,000 of years, my wrath has burned in the waters of the deep. Its power awakens me. The kingdom will fall once more. The sea will consume all yet again.
Well, a lot of the teams coming out the gate strong. IWNRX taking home the chicken dinny. I know how much you love me saying that. But also Team Falcons putting out some good eliminations.
Yes. Against teams that really they should not even get eliminations up against from the get-go here, Jason. What the hell was that hot drop, okay, Mr. Talking about Team Spirit, okay?
I'm surprised someone didn't rib me straight away for, you remember that time you said Spirit was really good on Sandhog? Why? Look, we assumed maybe that hot drop scenario would have just been resolved. Apparently not. I don't know why you were going Challenge Falcons at the beginning of the game, but there you go. That is going to really stunt some growth here, I think, for these 2 days.
It's not even the only one, right? You had Moneymakers versus Harame Bro, so you had 2 hot drops happening also in Painan, so those need to be resolved. Of course, it is only Sandhog. If it happens on a Wrangle, it is pretty bad, but, you know, hopefully they can fix it for the second day.
Kalaris, did you notice something there on the leaderboard?
No.
You
I
did
was looking at you.
Well, I can understand.
What was
DRX, 8 points.
Hooray! That's better than I thought it was going to be. Actually, that's more points than they got in that first day.
And that kind of gets them in the top 4.
For now.
They could be making it into the main event.
It's one game. Let's calm down, okay? It's one game.
We'll take a look at the rest of the list here. You can see a lot of teams here getting 0 points. I'm kind of a little bit sad Seven's not here to talk about Inko, and they're a big fat goose egg. But Brute Force again, 2 points for them. Moneymakers get themselves 5s. It is Sandhawk, so we won't judge too harshly. You only have 2 of these over the course of these 2 days. You'll still have 6 Erangels and 4 Miramars. Twisted Minds. Where'd they go?
They went cave.
They went cave.
Ratto Boy surviving until the very end. Ratto Boy. But leaving cave is just not going to work out when you have what was it? Adballs and TJB in the compound.
It's kind of my
Actually, I want to see it again now, yeah.
Okay. Ratto Boy. There you go. Just for you.
Appreciate it.
It's a great name. I love it.
It's the best name.
But let's talk about IWNRX really quickly. Obviously taking the zone towards them.
Yeah.
But they were insanely quiet, I would say. I'm going to go to you on this one. Insanely quiet during the group stage. And this is a team that I feel like we maybe had better expectations of, because in PMSL EMEA, Z-Wolf was just the MVP. Like, he was hands down
great.
Easily the MVP, but he was so silent the first 2 days.
And technically, this roster as a whole, there's a lot of lineage behind this roster when it comes to the Turkish region, how they're going to perform. For this game specifically, obviously, it felt like they had a bit of a delivery towards them, and then all they had to do was really sit towards the middle to be able to greet teams coming towards them. But they did a great job of doing it up on the high ground here, and if the circle's going to come your way, what better way than to just sit back, sit pretty.
Yeah, I mean, they had Rook, because they didn't loot too much in this game. They went very quickly to the warehouse, and after that, I just talk with my hands, Jason.
Do a lot of this.
I do that a lot of that, but Rook were instantly going for the rotation, and they just got extra loot of 4 players for pretty much free, so they could just stand in that position for the entirety of the match. And the moment the circle moves away, guess what? You go for the high ground position, start obliterating all the teams around you, and get what I would call a pretty free chicken dinner here to kick off the day.
What about good old TJB? We criticized them heavily about they were similar to D+ in terms of when playing in compounds, playing with more of a center zone. They did fairly well. They really struggled on their second day.
Sure.
A good start for them, at least.
Well, it was very similar, though, right? Like, they had that compound south towards Cave's position, as we take a look at some of the highlights here from the games, and it seemed very similar to a previous Sandhawk that they were able to do well on, right? Just have the hot compound, hold it down, force teams around you to make some uncomfortable decisions, and you saw us, for example, Twisted Minds having to come out of Cave alongside this. There's not much wiggle room for the teams around them.
I kind of liked what TJB were doing too, because they were in the same compound as Mad Balls, but they weren't actively fighting each other. Like, okay, a lot of teams are going to be trying to leave Cave or rotate around Cave.
Yeah.
Let's work together in a symbiotic relationship and get as many points as possible, then try and leave, which against IWNRX's position is nigh impossible, but you at least survive into the late game and get a few eliminations here and there.
And I get it, because there's too many compounds on Sandhawk where you cannot hold them yourself without taking casualties.
On the roads especially, yeah.
Yeah, so you need to make sure that you're making mature decisions and just backing off from some of those fights to then live later into the game alongside your newfound friends who are in the
Ratto Boy.
Not Ratto Boy, he wasn't. Anyway.
There is a specific player that I didn't even notice he was actually played until this match, and to be fair, it was his first match actually. Old Boy.
He's in.
I thought it was just going to be perma sub for the team, but he's actually playing today when he didn't get any matches in during the group stage.
I don't know what to expect of that though, because I have not seen him play at this level in a... How long has it been since he's played in these types
Well, how much hair did you have when last time you saw him playing?
No.
full afro. It was crazy.
It was 2020, back in the days where I had a hairline.
But the thing is, he has experience playing at a high level. However, the high level back then is much different than the high level now.
Yeah, and it was way different back then because you would have like 1-2 fraggers. Now every player on your team needs to frag out Old Boy could do that, but like it's a completely different caliber of play now. So we'll see. Of course, it's just a Sanhok. I want to see on the Wrangle on Miramar how that's going to work out, but it is a big addition that can be impactful if he's able to play at the peak of what he can bring to the table.
All right, well, we do actually have a special video for you guys at home that we wanted to show here. And can we actually just throw this up for you guys so you can take a in-depth look into Sanhok? Let's pull it up.
Not make the cut.
You might have had Brute Force win EMEA, but I do think Team Spirit has the highest skill ceiling potential, at least. If you think about their run in EMEA as well, breaking things down, 7 podium finishes, and a lot of those were first places on Sanhok across the EMEA tournament. The 3 Sanhoks they played, first, second, and third on Sanhok. If they get a good start here, that could get the ball rolling for them very quickly, because we're playing Sanhok first.
Can we get our match rankings up really quick on the second page, just real fast here, just to go off the back of what he was saying about Team Spirit doing so well on Sanhok.
Yeah, go on.
So I don't see them on the front page here, Max. Yeah, where are they?
They're not. Hey, where?
Hey,
Is that 16th position right there?
Where's that little Leonardo DiCaprio? Whoop, whoop,
Right there.
That was, you know what? All right, sometimes there's failures occurring. It's most of the time Max's fault, but this time around, I guess I have to take the brunt of it.
No, to be completely honest, right? You would look at a team as experienced as Team Spirit and Falcons. You wouldn't expect it to happen, right? Like, you'd be really angry.
I'm mad.
The best part was Max quickly jumped on ship on that one because he knows how much we rib on him, and he's like, "Oh, they're finally not doing it to me. I'm gonna get on someone else." All right, well, it's time to kick off for second match of the day. So let's go back over to John on Hot Jukes to get us into Erangel.
I'm pretty sure gravity departed because the sanity certainly was not there for that test either towards the end of it. They, rightly to be fair, criticizing Team Spirit, maybe less right to criticize KLRS because I'm on his side, man. I feel like this is definitely a roster that is good at Sanhok, just not when they're dead.
Scrooge McHale making some points.
That's
making
right.
some good points here. And that is correct, because I think that if you do go out first, it's not good.
It's difficult to make many points. Make many points? Get many points.
Or any points.
Yeah, have any points at all if you die. Generally, an adverse strategy when it comes to good results. But I tell you what's not an adverse.
What's that?
It is getting yourself an Infinix GT20 Pro. With dual gaming chipsets and a 144Hz AMOLED screen, the GT20 Pro will equip teams with up to 120 FPS, which is also the first batch of supported devices, offering esports level performance and visually stunning experiences in the 2024 PMWC.
Well, let's get it going, guys. Our first Erangel of the day, of this survival stage. And we can already see the rankings, man. We got some teams soaking up some points up there. IWNRX taking full advantage of that circle they got. Team Falcons, even though they didn't get the zone, they just straight up dominated, getting 14 total points. And looking on down, 6th place, Twisted Minds, right? Out of the 4 new teams that hopped on in here, they ended up with the most points, 6 in total.
Plane path from the northeast side down towards the quarry. Difficult potentially to get to military from here.
Don't say it.
Sorry. Yeah, no, don't talk about the island. We've already seen twice.
Too many times.
The brutality of that sort of a circle on the south shift. And in a survival stage, teams would be very, very reluctant to try and make their way down there. It's a good chunk, but it's not, right?
Yeah.
It's not a military circle yet. Yet. Touch wood. There we go. Found some wood. But we are absolutely hoping that they don't have to make that shift south.
Yeah, they do not want to do that.
No,
we got a hot drop! Team Panda!
On the outside!
The knives!
No. Team Spirit, what do you got? Are they going to be able to find anything? This is
no
disaster.
way! Not
Team
again!
Spirit! 2 games in a row! Team Spirit have fallen! What are you doing? You can't do this! This is PMWC!
The devastation!
Can we get a clip of Kale right now? What's his face doing?
Yes, I want to see Kale's face, because...
I mean, mine's doing.
I think
it's covered in tears of EMEA.
It's unreal. That is unreal. 2 hot drops off the rip, not able to find a weapon, and you go down like that. That's honestly unbelievably difficult to bounce back from.
That is unequivocally a bad play now for Team Spirit. No excuse for doing this twice in a row.
I don't know what they're going to do. I mean, maybe it could have been that playing path. They didn't have a solid secondary drop location, and they just got punished right there. So if you're even trying to make top 4, 2 bad games is pretty much max what you can afford. So they need to go crazy every single game after this. Otherwise, they're going home. Let's be honest.
It might have just been done and dusted off that. I mean, if nothing else, that's a huge morale buster of a start to the day, right? 2 matches where you're out of the game in 30 seconds. It's not cool, right?
It's not cool.
It's going to be a real rubbish feeling to be sat there in that team spirit booth thinking, what have we done? What have we just done? We are throwing this away.
Let's see what Twisted Mind can do. TJB making a party up over here by Crates. Nice support fire there from the other teammate. Guizal is trying to find a better angle here. He's actually going to be popping him through the back. That's a bold play. I'm so shocked he even did that. He should have found a way towards the squad. Now he's completely trapped, and he goes down.
Yeah, it's GK first, able to hop out with backup as well. Twisted Minds not in the position to support it.
That's a good name.
Might go for a third party. You're right, that was a pretty solid nade. Pushed him back and into the sightlines of his teammates, playing off one another.
Well, their hands got to be shaking right now. The nerves at an all-time high. It looks like they're going to be trading 1 player for 1. What is TJB going to do? Are they going to continue to go through this fight or rotate away? Honestly, sometimes you got to just cut your losses and leave.
Maybe just try and head on out of there. You want to get these reses.
They don't really have any loot at all, so they want... Yeah, I think TJB may have to commit here. They are so underlooted. They need every single thing they can get from Twisted Minds. But how are they going to get there? This is always a very difficult fight in Crates because you have to make those crosses into the wide open. You don't really know where other enemies could be. And it could end up really, really bad for you. Flower's staying in the same position. He's not rotated at all. And every single second at this point is just devastating.
It's really going to eat into your point scoring potential every single moment that you keep presence in these crates. But
they got Overwatch now.
They do. They have managed to sort of finagle something out of this one. Here goes trying to shimmy around, and no res is really going to be available for TJB. Like, that's a super exposed position. You can't go up there. Federalis just running people over towards Pachinki. Okay, let's go for it.
We'll take that. Yeah, TJB's gonna have to figure out what to do here because when you're in that Overwatch position, if you get caught out, you're getting knocked. Like, you can only take shots when you're like 1,000% confident that you're gonna get that initial knock. He may have eyes on Obscure. He saw and he missed the shots. Now they know exactly where he is. All eyes are gonna be on him.
Gonna have plenty to deal with now.
That was risky.
3 players alive, 4 Twisted Minds. Same for TJB. Both rosters having a rough time of it now. Longs is pretty much out the fight, so if Twisted Minds can establish and engage a ground fight, he's going to be so out of the way. Let's take a look at what is a disaster for Team Spirit. They don't even get in the door.
Oh my goodness, and I don't even see really any weapons on the side of Team Spirit. They were just trying to knife for their lives and just take it out in an instant.
That's actually upset me. I'm pretty upset. I'm genuinely upset that this has happened.
Quite frazzled.
To Team Spirit. Yeah, I mean...
What could he say?
I genuinely don't... I don't even want to talk about it.
They've had their feet on the ground in this tournament for like 2 minutes.
Yeah. They owe me now.
Yeah, that's gonna hurt. And the thing is like your morale's got to be at an all-time low. To bounce back, you only have 10 matches remaining. Oof, it's gonna be a long road ahead. I mean, this next game, we need to see a double-digit elimination chicken dinner.
I mean, this is the thing, right? This roster genuinely is so capable of that.
It's true.
But it's a question of can they dig themselves out of their own minds after that performance. Moneymakers moving in from Primorsk, trying to punch their way south of Quarry into the circle.
1v2
is going to start to pop off. Obscure around the side finds one.
Jump shot
around the edge, and the AKM tears through TJB. Brings Twisted Minds up to the advantage, and it's just Longs. That's what I was saying. If they can establish and engage a ground fight, Longs isn't there.
TJB, man, just getting demolished right there. Obscure with that 1v2 was disgusting. What a huge play. They know where the final player is, and it's really up to Twisted Minds now. Do you stay? Do you get this confirmation? Or do you head towards the next zone? All longs. That is a very angry play right there. Shooting out the tires, saying, you know what, how dare you? I'm going to make things a little bit more tough on you.
There's a little lead weight around the ankles right now for Twisted Minds.
Oh, Obscure's going to have an angle. Yep, he does.
Third-party potential for Inco as well. Remember,
Got him!
through. That is exactly what they were looking for.
Obscure?
Hits the shot.
All
Inco
four?
have got the off angle as they move from North George, potentially pulling short to find some Twisted Minds players, but that fight has concluded. Team's very, very central. This second circle just about to pop.
Yeah. Go south. Why not? Let's see it. Let's see it. Okay, never mind. Yeah, it goes right dead center. It's going to be school still available. So, honestly, it's a very good zone shift for Twisted Mind and Inco. We'll see if that battle does ring out. It's going to be a tough one for both these teams. Now, one team in particular, Team Panda, they're all the way down south in the military base. They're going to have to hit a bridge here in the next few moments.
Potato Hill on the east side of Pachinki. A major feature, as it always is on this sort of a circle. It'll be interesting to see who's going to hold that terrain right now. Mad Bull's right on the north edge of it. You got Rook marauding around on the east side, potentially clashing with COG Osaka as well. There's a couple of other teams trying to push their way in. Besiktas getting close towards the top there. I think having some runs across the Pachinki fields as well to bring up the rear as things start to get messy around the middle. Inco do finally find 1-2 from Twisted Minds, and they're looking for that flush as well. They will extract the value. Twisted Minds down to just one player alive.
One player alive, just like that. They did get some points on the board, though, so that's fortunate. But at the same time, it's going to hurt pretty bad. You could see Inco, they were waiting for this. They heard those shots ring out, and that's why teams really need to try to avoid any engagement early on. It's because, yeah, you get those 4 points, great, but it's very, very rare at this level of competition you leave unscathed, right? You either have a couple players go down in that fight, or you have a team completely gatekeep you. Now we're going to watch the two top squads so far in the lobby, IWNRX and Team Falcons, start to poke some shots at each other.
This is where I think IWNRX are going to have to prove themselves a little bit more. They're on that south side of the circle in general. They're not given a center circle position. Their sweeping needs to be strong now. That's kind of how they finished out the last game, and what they're going to need to do this game sort of going to echo that. Obviously, it's only circle 2. They don't have to move yet. They'll be able to bide their time for just a moment longer, but fighting off against Falcons, that's another way to prove yourself.
Team Falcons. Action is knocked. They should be able to get the res onto him. Actually, no. He's really low. Getting picked apart. He should have cover now. Let's see if they are going to be able to pick him up. Top, it's really up to him to just apply some shots, some pressure to be able to get their teammate up. Let's really look at this replay here. Obscure with this 1v2. Beautiful pre-fire shot. Have to win this against a DBS. AK, bop, headshot. That's all it takes.
That is exactly what you need from Obscure, so Twisted Minds happy.
That was a 1v4.
On the roster, there's the shots that sealed the deal against TJB. Did he manage to get the first knock as well?
Oh, yes, he did. And now look at that. This is what happens, though, right? You got that beautiful 1v4 from Obscure, and then Inco just sat there waiting for the easy eliminations and easy loot as well.
Now it's just Ratto Boy, one of my favorite names in the tournament. Going to be remaining for Twisted Minds. Over in Pachinki, circle out to the east side of things. Again, over towards Potato Hill. I'm looking at Mad Bulls right now, thinking how much of that can they hold on to on their fairly wide split as it stands.
Team Falcon starting to pop some shots onto IWNRX. They're going to go ahead and leave for a more central position here. These buildings are not too bad. You definitely pop some shots at vehicles heading towards you, but if you do get crashed on, it can be quite difficult to hold. So let's see if that ends up paying off for them. Very, very southern position. They're actually going to have to move north because that is actually that zone, that complex is outside of the circle. Looking further in though, yeah, Mad Bulls are at a really, really good spot here. D plus Kia are not at a bad one as well. And meanwhile, you got Moneymakers and Team Falcons starting to get mighty close to each other.
Yeah, the Moneymakers rolled up to the Falcons' position. They did turn around with their initial 2, but now they've regrouped and they're playing as 4. Falcons a little bit more split right now, but no one's really in contact at this stage. Action, trying to drop those smokes, give themselves cover. Old Boy repositioning on an off angle. 3-1 attempt at this play.
Got him.
But Old Boy goes down, and this is an age-old problem for Old Boy. He goes off on some wild angle and just doesn't get any value, goes down, gets flushed, and they aren't going to reap any rewards for it. In fact, it's only going to slow them down. It's only going to mean that they just have to disengage, and Falcons don't want to let that happen. They're going to continue to take these shots. Havlik has to hop in and hop away.
They should. They know it's a 4v3 situation, and they're going to see some pop shots out the vehicle, out the buggy. Not able to get it done, though. So Moneymakers run away. But are they going to be able to run away for long? Because Team Falcons know they're in a 4v3 situation. They want more eliminations. They only have 1 so far. But, oh, look at that. A tire gets popped.
And a second.
Hits it into reverse. Tries to jump into his teammate's vehicle. Not able to do so. He's wide out in the open. Hits the lay down.
Ooh.
No way he survives this.
Oh,
okay.
Get in the second time. Top still looking for the spray. He's up, he's down. And finally, Icy's knocked. And that will be a flush. Moneymakers down to 2 players. I'm surprised the Falcons let it get that far.
Let's see what they decide to do down. Maybe they should start prioritizing zone at this point, though. Meanwhile, yeah, Moneymakers are going to go ahead and into that blue zone, just try to make the ultra-safe rotation with their last remaining 2 players. But a good start for the Falcons once again. Couple eliminations, every single player up. This is what I was talking about, though, right? That extra aggression on these teams that are so nervous is just paying off big time.
It is striking fear in the hearts of the opponents right now. Circle just about to close. Look at Brute Force on the north side. Currently, kind of enveloping around Inko on that northeast edge. Trying to play through. Chudo on the inside against 3, bearing down upon him. Needs to be on the swivel, but there's no way you can hold off against the open door, against that back as well. And Chudo goes down for Brute Force, which will leave them a little bit wanting, but they are now locked into that garage. So maybe a little bit of a trap set over towards Inko. They're pulled on in. They think, ooh, we've got a point. And now we're going down because Brute Force established the crossfire.
I don't know if that was a set play. It looked like they just had one of their players out of position in a bad split. But Brute Force does have a chance here to get their revenge. The blue zone is starting to punish them. This is stage 4. It's actually going to be chunking quite a bit. So yeah, Inko did commit everybody on that outside player. But now Brute Force are in a great position to gatekeep them.
Besiktas trying to move up towards DRX. This is a solo player for DRX, by the way, playing all the way down the bottom. He's still got teammates alive, but they're not quite near enough. 2 knocks sent back over.
Wow!
Besiktas, and a 3rd as well. That is huge. D plus Kia chiming on into the fight, and they're looking for everybody on this hillside. Moneymakers, DRX, Besiktas, who've already gone down. Finally, Osal falls, but that should be Reservoir, and they can continue their push on in from the southwest.
Great plays for DRX here. Solo plays, at least. Not really working as a team, but getting it done by themselves. This nade should do it. Yep, and that'll do it. Moneymakers out of there. So, and that's 3 eliminations that DRX desperately needed.
Definitely want to try and convert off that first match. 8 points, not massive, but very important. That's enough to put you up in 4th place right now as it stands. So 3 points, adding onto the tally, a great conversion, even if they can't get too much further. But on the southwest side, they're looking okay. They've got D plus Kia and Rook kind of in the wings right now, but I'm looking at Harame, bro, and looking at this roll-up. Falcons need another hold.
Let's see if they can hold it down here. Range got some really good angles here, but Team Falcons return. Now here comes Top with that DBS pre-firing through the smoke, and they are connecting. Harame Bros in big trouble, and they're out of trouble because they're gone just like that.
There's no way you can beat trouble when you're eliminated. Falcons will be able to hold their high ground, get these reses. Mad Bull's moving in underneath. D plus Kia as well, moving up a little bit further north. But with the fight concluded, nobody's going to go for this third party. What has happened, though, is that gap has closed. Falcons no longer have a position to move into the east side. They are going to have to try and push through a little bit more resistance. Mad Bulls do actually regroup further north, as I say that, and that is going to mean that they're going to hold back just that little bit more, wait for that gap to stay open to establish itself and push through now towards Ratto Boy, the Lone Ranger for Twisted Mind.
Yeah, they should do it sooner than later, but they don't know, right? They don't know that there's only Ratto Boy holding that one little dip right there. But I don't think they're going to have time to even look in that direction because right now they're completely focused on Mad Bulls. Mad Bulls are mighty close, and it looks like they are going to have to press them here soon with some shots. Actually, very, very good holdback from the team. Icy now up close and personal. Mad Bulls say, you know what, forget it. We are out of here.
Don't want any piece of that pie. They are just going to be sending it back. And moving back up towards Brute Force. There's only one player for Brute Force on this outpost. It's Neos for the roster. Brute Force, of course, having lost a player to their Inco scrap in the garage. They are going to be able to hold a lot of this north side, actually, under their control. Rook, they've been trying to move up this hill for a while. DRX sit in the way.
Let's see what Rook's going to do. Rook is one of those teams that is new to this lobby. And they definitely are feeling the nerves, but they got to start getting aggressive. They have to. And you can see them starting to press up on a DRX. They got to get this fight done sooner than later. They got to recognize that, you know what, they have the numbers. They're all close together. Might as well try to take this fight. Oh, but some great shots there from Sai. Up top. And that's actually from multiple different angles. Now we see Rook starting to press the pressure onto DRX. Is he going to get that knock? No, barely misses.
Not quite able to connect for
Where's the rest of the team, though?
They are quite split around this fight, and they're not really trying to capitalize on this just yet. Finally, Inco goes down. The little bro Brazil, again, not going to have a great result on the match. Hang on a minute. Mad Bulls, Falcons, over on the western edge. It looks like they will finally clash. The Mad Bulls turn around and head back into the fight. One player of Falcons now down and out will be flushed. Another knock over on this western edge against the Falcons. The Mad Bulls are starting to turn things around for them. DRX as well, in the way of Rook, starting to find an opening. It's just top now remaining. This guy, MVP material, rolls on down. Is he going to be able to survive? I mean, that's a kind of wild push, and it's not going to work out. They still get 7 eliminations, but go down earlier than we expected.
But 7 eliminations is enough. That's good, solid points regardless. It's all about that consistency if you want to make it into top 4. We're seeing some inconsistent teams get taken out really early here. Rook has a lot of angles. Meanwhile, Twisted Minds, the final player, getting taken out. That's Ratto Boy gone. Mad Bulls now finally starting to make some noise.
Yeah, with 4 eliminations this match and full 4 players alive playing from the west, they have got an interesting approach to this circle. Right now, Pandem are split across the strongest part of high ground, with Rook trying to push in on the western side, IWNRX on the east. It's going to be a tall order to hold it, though.
Let's see if they're going to be able to hold it down. Rook starting to make some noise here. Get a nice elimination there onto D plus Kia. I believe it is just Chips. Last one up for them. And now, oh, look at that. Beautiful shots onto the Mad Bulls. Is he going to get the confirm? No, barely misses it. If you're a Team Spirit fan, though, you're pretty excited right now because 2nd through 5th place are already out. But you got to watch out for IWNRX. They're looking to soak up some points.
Absolutely. I mean, yeah, I was wondering where you were going with that for Team Spirit because, I mean, sure, you take the silver linings where you can.
Yeah.
Right? So some of the teams higher up going down early, sure, it's good. But it really kind of pales in comparison to what you need to get done. Brute Force trying to move their way forwards. Freezer is down, will get flushed away. IWNRX pick up that point. That goes over towards, I think Zedwolf was able to get the flush, but the point is frozen. On this eastern side, they are in the zone, and they can start to look to move along this ridgeline that Pandem currently hold the center of that looks downhill towards the COG Osaka compound.
Yeah, I think IWNRX needs to get extra aggressive at this point. They have a massive opportunity in front of them. They have the ability to put massive points on the board and create a large gap ahead of them. If they start creating a big gap today, tomorrow they can have fun with this lobby. They can decide which teams make it and which don't. They'll have so much power available in their hands, so they need to take advantage of it here and now. Next zone does pop. CAG Osaka are going to be in a great position here, but now you can see the Mad Bulls completely spread out. Starting to get punished here by Rook.
Rook are doing bits right now over on the western side, but again, they're going to have to move forwards. It is 3 players now alive, with Zerich going down for the Mad Bulls, but Rook are taking damage, and that is Pandem. This is the strong high ground I was talking about. They are looking out to that west. It's a little bit higher ground over there, but there's this saddle that sits in the middle, and you need to push past it. That's what Rook are going to look to do now. Pandem need to hold, but they've lost Pondbit on that outpost. Down the hill they go, and they're exposing themselves to some pretty disastrous angles here. One player falling, and it looks like they might just find some more hold on that western edge.
Yeah, I think Team Rook is doing too much here. They're focusing on too many separate fights. They need to just group up together, focus on one team at a time. Right now, your eyes have to be on Mad Bulls. You want to be able to secure this location and then move up little by little after that. Let's see what they end up deciding to do. It looks like they did finally group up, and they could look to pass up the Mad Bulls. That's a very, very risky play, and might just take it to CAG Osaka. Nope, instead they do send it on the Mad Bulls, and they are on the run.
They're going to get that flush. They're going to turn around, make sure they secure the point. A 9th elimination on the cards for Rook. They are on the war path, and all 4 of their players are alive, pushing into the circle. Still not easy, but with Pandem on 3, it's a little bit easier. CAG Osaka flexing out now and actually rotating south to put pressure on.
Yes, they are. CAG Osaka have been pretty quiet, though. Only 1 elimination so far. Well, let's see what they do. Actually, no, I'm sorry. No eliminations just yet. So they have not been able to pull 1. And they really need to start doing it because they did have a so-so game number 1. They want to be able to put themselves in a position for top 4 because that is the goal, folks. 4 slots remaining for the finals.
Pushing in from that north side. They were trying to third party on the west edge, and they have now folded back towards their compound. Getting across the open ground that sits ahead of them is not going to be easy once these fights on the south conclude. CAG Osaka, they need to find something, and that's what they were looking for, to try and sweep that west edge so that they can then foothold and springboard into this circle, right? Because right now, once there is an established presence on the hill to their south, there's like no way you get out of that compound.
That's right. Let's see what they decide to do here because they had that compound and it's been so safe. They got pretty circle blessed, and eventually they do need to leave it. But this is a tough point when you're in the survival stage. Sometimes you err on the side of safety, right? You're like, okay, we have coverage. Let's just hold it here for longer. But at a certain point, you got to realize we got the numbers.
Yeah.
Let's get to the edge and start taking some of these fights because we're seeing teams really soak up eliminations. One of them being Rook, 9 so far.
IWNRX not being super loud on this eastern side, but they're going to have to push in a little bit closer. The next circle's just about to pop. They're finding knocks, they're finding openings. They're staying as a ball right now, and they need to get rolling. Rook further uphill, but they are again with their backs to the zone. A nade over towards the remaining duo for Brute Force, just to keep things spicy. Zed Wolf with the Mini 14, trying to land the shots, not quite there, but Kain has the angle to pick up another point.
CAG Osaka get blessed with the circle.
Wow.
They are dead center. They have so much real estate, but when are they going to start getting angry? When are they going to stand up and start taking some shots? That's going to be the big question. They end up smoking themselves out. That's a really bad decision right there because it eliminates their sight lines and allows teams to push up onto them. But the IWNRX, they're going to be pushing most likely under Brute Force here in the next few moments. It's going to be absolute chaos in the next 10 seconds.
CAG Osaka, I think they smoked up to get the res on one of their players who was on the forward position. But it will remove a little bit of wind from their sails. However, they now should be dissipating fairly soon. Rook mounting up.
Oh, they're playing it so passive. They're playing it so passive. They're just laying down right now. And that's going to allow teams to make some moves. Nice shots there from IWNRX. Frozen. Gonna try to get a nade. Most likely onto Brute Force. Yes, 3 of them. Never mind. Here comes the drive up.
Oh no. 1, 2.
Great shots from Brute Force, shutting them down.
That is so nasty. You try and roll down. You knew there was players there. It's just a Hail Mary last-ditch attempt. And IWNRX go down with 1 elim in 6th place. That is not good for them on the southeast side. They couldn't get past Brute Force. Brute Force now has suffered a knock, and Team Pandem trying to move over the hillside. This is the team that's been on this wide spread for a long time, keeping Rook out to that west, but it looks like Rook might finally have gotten ahead of the curve. If they can use these smokes to keep Pandem out, they might have secured themselves the game.
Let's see what happens, though, because Team Pandem do have some really nice angles here. Are they able to get it? They do. Ooh. That nice nade. That is from CAG Osaka. Now they're starting to make some noise here. They have all the real estate in the world. They got to start getting extra aggressive. Don't let Rook push up on you for free.
You cannot let this one happen. As CAG Osaka, keep the ordnance coming. Get a knock, get a flush, get more points as well. That's what you need to add to your tallies. 1 knock sent to their backlines. That is going to be a bit of a rescue mission if they want to keep this one in. I wouldn't be too surprised to see a player go for it, though, because they've slowed down all of the teams around them.
CHG Osaka, look, we're starting to see that confidence from them. We're starting to see them realize, hey, this is our game to win. Let's make it happen here with as many eliminations as possible. Because every second you wait, those numbers just get dwindled more and more. Nice nade there. Only one player up left, and that is Slonk there. Is he going to be able to get that res? Oh, that nade. Does he get the bounce? Ooh. Oh, that one hurt.
Ticked a little bit of damage. That's a shot.
AWM.
Where's he pulled that from? That's naughty. Going to be looking for the shots as well.
Looking for toes.
Oh, I don't think he just quite noticed the toes there, unfortunately. But you step out, your block is going off. I tell you that much.
Let me see a quick snipe. Let's see it.
Go on.
Let's see it.
You know you want to.
Slonk, better be careful. Don't peek. Don't you even move a muscle. Just go
to.
out to blue zone. You look out, you are gone.
I'm surprised that there's not an aid coming through from Panda.
Yep. He's just eating some blue zone. He knows what time it is. He denies the points to CHG Osaka. 2 knocks onto them. Was that brute force? It was. Pre-pod started to make some noise.
That is huge pickup for Brute Force. On the eastern side, they now have an excellent crossfire to push across this open slope to play against CHG Osaka. That's completely changed the cadence of this circle. With Neos going down, though, it is all up to Prepod. He can't push down this hill. He cannot get this res. With the AWM in hand as well. He's challenging it? You kidding? He's going to have heard that one. That should back him off.
Let's see what happens. Panda, sneaky, sneaky, sneaky. Starting to snake their way on in. Let's see if they already get sightlines. Oh, Apollo actually gets beat up quite a bit there. I'm not sure if he wants to peek that one again. But now they know where he is, so let's see if this nade is able to connect. I think this is his last one. Yep, that was the last nade he had. And it is gone, not able to connect. It is anyone's game here. Team Panda, been so quiet, just picking up every elimination they can.
Neo's making that death crawl right now, trying to get back to Prepod to get the res.
This is the 9th circle, folks. It's about to go to nothing, and that is that player from Brute Force gone. Only one remaining player, and it's the IGL. Prepod, what can you do?
I mean, he already had that impact, taking half of CHG Osaka down.
He sees him.
He sees him. He's going to step up. Looks for the spray. That's one. Going down. Will look for the flush, but he's dropping out wide and into the sidelines of CHG Osaka. A 1 versus 2. I don't think it's there. The orb isn't even necessary, as that's going to go through to Apollo with the DBS. Hang on a minute. Who's got the sniper? Someone check him. It's going to be Pandem now in a 1 versus 2. It's Naoto. Is going to try and hold it down. They have the inside track, and the nade is enough. Apollo burns bright. And CHG Osaka hold it down. It got dicey there with half of their players going out, but they keep it under control. Cool Card collected from the North Compound.
Woo, that was way too close for comfort right there. But you know what? They got it done, and they got some great eliminations as well. That should rocket launch them up the leaderboards. Very fortunate for the rest of the lobby that IWNRX went out relatively early, even though they had a good position. The rest of the top half of the leaderboards went out as well. So now we're going to see some shakeups here pretty early.
Yeah, Falcons were able to get 7 eliminations that match. Even though we haven't seen them for ages, they did just get some scraps on board, but they're now about level with where IWNRX were, given that IWNRX didn't get too many points on that match. So it's going to be an interesting, very close top of the tables.
See the snipe right here. Bah! Right underneath the vehicle. You love to see that AWN. I want to see some more snipes, baby.
I'm sniping here.
Come on, come on. As we look at Prepod, that was a really good play from him, and one that Brute Force desperately needed.
Definitely. It is going to be good news. I mean, Brute Force did bits, right? They managed to get up into 3rd place. I think it was 5 or 6 eliminations towards the end. CHG Osaka putting a respectable score on the board. Pandem, they held their nerve on the south side. I wasn't expecting them to be able to keep Rook at bay, but they were able to do it, and I'm pretty happy with that.
I'm pretty happy as well. You know, as a matter of fact, I talked to Prepod at breakfast this morning, and I was like, dude, survival stage, come on. He's like, we just lack confidence. That was it. It was all about the confidence. But after a game like that, hopefully they finally gained it. And they're going to need it here because there's not a lot of games left in this one.
No, absolutely not. There is an ever-dwindling number of matches remaining. It is so exciting. Can Team Spirit stay alive for a minute or more? That's what will be answered after the break.
لحظات البداية عاشت معنا. كنا نحسبها وقت للتسلية بس، نحسبها بس ذكريات.
عبود أعطي أختك اليد يا ولد.
ابتكرنا فيها ابتكارات، وإذا بغينا قلبناها خرافات. كنا نحسبها بس لمة وصحبة وسهرات،
انتبه نوب ترى نوب.
لكن كنا نشوف عالم ما حد يشوفه.
ليت يشغل وقته بشيء يفيده.
الله عليك على اليد سود.
عالم كبر وعاش فينا، عالم الحماس فيه يوصلك كل مرة لحلم أصعب، بس ما يصعب عليك. بارد معك وين ما تروح.
It seemed to be a day of changes here, as we do have some teams who massively underperformed when it came to the group stage. Stepping up, Kagosaka getting himself a win here on our first Erangel of the day, but the real story, Kalaris.
I'm just sad. What's happening? I don't know anymore.
But the worst building too. You're gonna get eliminated over that. Come on.
Well, you know, Seven Worlds Gaming did say, you know, you get a mulligan game here. But what about second mulligan?
Oh, lovely.
Yeah.
What about third? Do it again. Do
I
it for the memes at this point. I don't know.
If it happens a third time, Clark's head is going to just burst. Or his biceps will burst. I don't know. Either one. You guys at home are watching, though, you have noticed that the players are participating with the PMWC Violet Thunder set, which you guys can pick up for yourself. Maxman, I remember seeing a screenshot of someone that I might know who got one himself.
And you know what? I got super lucky. I got it super quickly too. And I'm really digging it. So I'm look good in game. I'm still going to get eliminated by bots, but I look cool in the process.
That's not true. Come on. Come on. You know, I'm the one that gets eliminated by bots, or I get eliminated by Neptura letting me die right in front of her because she doesn't decide to res
Happens
me.
a lot, yeah.
I know you're out there watching Neptura. Stop that.
Did I ever tell that story about the time I was clutching out and he was looting still?
Oh yeah,
I needed my cheek pad, Kalaris.
I needed my cheek pad. He didn't need it.
I need my cheek.
It's ridiculous.
I don't think I even had a sniper.
Didn't you? What?
You had to have had.
I don't think I did.
Anyway.
Anyways, what we need to focus on though is kind of what's going on in these matches. Kagosaka, let's just go. You know what? Evolaris, go ahead. I know you were talking about this during the game. You were kind of disappointed with position they had and how it still was a very tough victory for them.
Well, I mean, they won. great. That's brilliant. All right, now I'll be serious for
But it wasn't the caliber of a top 4 team.
So, well, so they had this compound for a long time in this game. Fantastic. They get the win here under their belt. 18 points go their way.
Oh.
I actually assumed maybe they would get less Olymp points off the back of this win, considering they were very apprehensive about leaving the compound. That obviously kind of caused them some wounding positions. I think the 3-1 split that they were initially going for, that makes sense, because Matton can just be in that off angle, kind of holding things out. You sometimes think that maybe you're going to sacrifice him anyway, but he limits the maneuverability of the other teams for your 3 to then sweep and then do something about it. But going back to try and save him, or even having the 2-2, was a little bit scary. It did work out in the end, though.
They were just scrambling about. They were not sure what they wanted to do and how they wanted to execute that late game scenario, though. Well, there you go. See Team Spirit again, 0 points this time around. But yeah, it was a very silent game for CAG Osaka. And I really wanted to see them eliminate Brute Force, but they just allowed them to make the cross away from OPDIM.
Yeah.
I feel like if you eliminate that, that game becomes infinitely easier for them to win. But Brute Force get away, and actually, I feel like get away with absolute murder and win, and almost get to a game-winning position by waiting on the east of the circle.
Brute Force got away with a lot. I mean, technically, you know, you see Osaka's position, you see technically what would have been INRX's position, IWNRX's position, and they should have been eventually sandwiched, because you can't really cover yourself from both angles at the same time, but NRX was a little bit scared about maybe even peeking on over to the full extent that they could have done.
And actually, talking about some of the plays that were happening there with IWNRX, I want to take the conversation over to Pandem. How the hell did they survive that long? They were surrounded by Mad Bulls, there was Rook, there was IWNRX, there was also CAG, I think, taking some shots from the compound down below. And they just lose a single player? Like, sorry, they need to get punished in those scenarios.
He's been saving this up. He's so keen. Listen to him. But I agree with you, right? Like, the split that they had, obviously on 2 sides, doing the drive scouting is very important to know exactly what's going on. But their split should have been punished by some of those teams. Be it IWNRX moving west, or the teams finally fixing every fight that's going down on the west, even, I should say, and then moving east themselves. But no, Pandem got away with a lot, man. A lot.
Well, one team that I wanted to bring up here that I know Seven, while we were watching, was talking about Rook. Honestly, Max, we got to cover them when it came to PMSL CSA because we got to do the watch party on it. I don't really expect much out of them in this event. However, they put up 11 eliminations here so far in this match, and not easy to do considering, again, the caliber teams you have. But I don't know if that was a fluke or if this is what the kind of Rook we're going to see in this day.
I would say, I mean, covering CSA right in the watch party, Rook were a very passive team, right? I feel like they understood we need to take like an extra kind of measure of precaution if you want to do well in this lobby, which is we see a team, we're just going to shoot at them, get the points. Stop doing that. And I feel like they've changed their mentality from CSA going into PMWI because passive playstyle is not going to make you qualify in the top 4 for the main tournament. So we know that they have some really good sprays. I think Keeper Boss is a player that we mentioned multiple times that can perform really well at that kind of mid to long range sprays.
Yeah.
But now they play more aggressive, which is the perfect change for the stage. I'm really stoked to see that.
I mean, you've got Vic on the team, you got Yankee on the team. We did see a couple of clutches out of those individual players back in CSA. But in the back of my head, it's like, Jason, this lobby is so much more difficult, even though you have teams like IHC, 4MV, Falcons in your region.
Spirit. Oh, no, actually. No, sorry.
I mean, for
I said difficult.
they squeaked by in the end of the
Ratto
CSA tournament. Not Ratto Boy. You're upset. Wait. Where was I even? Brooke, I mean, they squeaked by in the region that you were covering for a watch party, right? It took the last game, similar to Alula AHC, to being able to... They squeaked by. This is ridiculous.
This is Seven. What are you doing here?
Oh, yeah.
No, yeah, squeak by, but obviously we've seen a couple teams do that. Team Spirit, I want to not be too harsh on them, but I know we did say all of us said,
be harsh.
You weren't here for this, that Brute Force, in our eyes, is not the best team from EA necessarily. But they're looking better than Team Spirit so far.
Let's be real. These last 2 games, absolute catastrophe.
Yeah.
Absolute catastrophe. I was hoping that they would start the ball rolling fast and maybe try and get something done. But losing 2 games like this, it's not only a bit of a crushing blow to what I would say is morale, it's also the fact that when you go out early in a game, especially 2 games in a row, you have to sit there for 20, 25 minutes, 30 minutes before you even get into the next game. That period of time where you're just cold, everybody's still warm, going through the games, going through the motions, is also yet another burden you have to take into the next game. Something wild has to happen going into the next ones.
Yeah, I'm sure they've been playing more TDM than the actual games of this tournament, right? So yeah, I don't know what's going on. Like, because when you're dropping for that singular building too, you know players are dropping around you. You can instantly change, go to yellows if you want, southern side of Pachinki. It's not great, but you're not fighting with a singular gun for 1 car. That's just egregious. Yeah.
All right, well, we are getting things ready to go for our next match. I'm hearing we do have an interview with Barney down on the stage, so let's go check it out.
Welcome back to the main stage, where we are joined by Kane from Istanbul Wildcats next Ruya. Thank you for joining us on stage. Just a quick first question. Let's cast your mind back to the group stage. It was difficult. You guys didn't really find your feet. What went wrong?
Grup aşamalarında, grup karşılaşmalarında her şey tam istediğiniz gibi gitmemiş olabilir. Ne ters gitti? Sorun neydi?
Ya sorunlar, uçak çok kötü geçiyordu. Mainlerimize tam atlayamıyorduk. Prime spotlarımızı alamıyorduk. O bayağı sıkıntı oldu. Şu an prime spotlarımızı alabiliyoruz rahatça. Rahatça alabildiğimiz sürece istediğimiz oyunu ortaya koyacağız.
Usually it wasn't possible for us to get our main spots that easily. Now it's possible. That's why it's getting much better.
Okay, so that's the reason. That was my next question. Survival stage kicked off really well. You've managed to secure the first winner chicken dinner. Is that kind of what you're going to continue to do, or what are you working on right now?
Tam da onu soracaktım ben. Bu grup karşılaşmalarında, o aşamalarda bunların ters gittiğini anlayınca neyi değiştirmeye karar verdiniz? Chicken dinner'da aldınız. Bir sonraki aşamada yapmak istediğiniz şey ne ve neyi değiştirirsiniz?
Aslında çalıştığımız şey de eğer prime spotlarımızı alamazsak nasıl oynayabileceğiz, nasıl oyunumuza devam ettireceğiz. Daha çok bunların üzerine çalıştık. Bu hatalarımızı kapatmaya çalıştık. Biraz olsun da kapattığımızı düşünüyorum. Bence bu grup aşaması bizim için iyi geçecek. Öyle.
So we usually decided thinking and focusing on more on what to do to cover up the loss that we may ever have in the group stages, like we did in the group stages. So, and I believe that we will just capture the same momentum and it will be much better.
Okay, finally, I have to ask you, Kane, what happened in map 2, man? On Erangel, what happened? What was that push? Who called it? What went wrong?
Sormam lazım bu soruyu. Erangel'de ne oldu? Hani kimin fikriydi? Nasıl, niye girdiniz oraya? Nasıl oldu o olanlar?
Ya aslında biraz sıkışmıştık. Sağ altımızı vurursak win hamlesi olduğunu biliyorduk. Gittik vuramadık. NT. Eğer vursaydık win alırdık yani. Yapacak bir şey yok. NT diyelim, geçelim.
Actually, we knew that it's going to be a big hit home rid, and I would say it would have been an NT, but it didn't work like that. But still, I would say NT at the end.
Well, you know what? You miss 100% of the chances you don't take. So I'm glad you guys are actually taking those chances. Best of luck with the rest of day 1 of the survival stage. But for now, we're going to head back to the studio to continue day 1.
We have got more matches yet to come. That is right. We are going to once again see how long Team Spirit can survive.
Let's go!
I'm going to keep talking smack about them until they do something good.
Let's see if they can hit a record here in this game.
A record?
I want to see a record.
Phase 2?
Phase 2?
You kidding?
That would be a double of what they've done so far. Actually, probably more than double.
That's so true.
Yeah. It's crazy to watch. I can't believe it. I really can't. But you know what? They're going into the second Erangel match, and don't fix what's not broken. You know what I'm saying? Just go to the same place. Go. You know what I'm saying? It's all about consistency, but maybe they don't understand that, you know what? Consistent points is what they need.
That is true. They are being consistent. But let's take a look if they can increase that points floor. They are going to be looking to do so, of course, with the Infinix GT20 Pros. With dual gaming chipsets and 144Hz AMOLED screens, the GT20 Pro will equip teams with up to 120 FPS, which is also the first batch of supported devices, offering esports level performance and visually stunning experiences in the 2024 PMWC. The plane path is here for our second of 3 Erangels, and we are going to be going from Milt to Power over to George Pole.
Alrighty, well, I'm looking at this plane right now. I'm seeing where's Team Spirit gonna take off from, because they need a monster game right here and now, because you can't hope that the top teams are gonna do bad once again, because at this point, we're already starting to see a little disparity at the top, and there's only been 2 matches so far. And that lead is only going to get increased as time goes on. So I'm looking at the plane. I don't see them out just yet. Team Falcons.
Yeah, they are on the south. Team Spirit.
Oh, there they are. Yep.
Are they going again? Are they going for the repeat? I feel like they're a little bit split away right now. Okay. Oh, breathe a second. Team Spirit haven't hot dropped. Oh my god. Oh, okay. That's good.
We're starting off strong. Mixing things up here. Third time is the charm. And, you know, at the same time, they're so cold going into this match. You know, so cold. They're going to have to make something happen here. The zone does go on up, and it's going to be a tough one.
Pretty tricky. Keeps that central river in play.
That's right.
Keeps a lot of decisions still to be made because it splits the circle almost directly in half, right? You've got all of that water that you need to cross. And I mean, sure, you can go all the way around to the east, but if you have to make that call early, which side do you go for? Right now, technically, I think it's a fairly even split when you include the water that's all the way on the north side. The probability of ending up either north or south of this river, I mean, maybe I'd still give it just to the north.
Yeah, I mean, that's the problem is when you have a zone like this, that river going right in between it, you have to kind of take a gamble, right? Do we go to the north side or the south side? And if that zone shifts away from you, you're in big trouble. I mean, we don't see teams make it very often when they get a hard shift like that. So Cube is a really, really good place to be right there at the edge of that river. Besiktas Black are holding it right now, so it looks like that's a place they want to hold on to. But you got teams like Team Falcons all the way down in Novo. They're gonna have to make a big trip up north.
Yeah, they've got a long way to go. Pandem actually did go to the north side of Military Island as well, so they're going to have to make a similarly long trek, but they've already grabbed their vehicles. Novo getting looted up, as you said, by Falcons, so an easy time for now. The question is, will there be conflict on the bridge? We'll have to wait and see. IWNRX splitting around the ferry pier area. They're going to be fairly looted up. They're going to be quite happy with proceedings. They've got that west coast road that they can go along. But what's interesting is that west side is actually kind of occupied right now by moneymakers. That west coast split, I mean, this is something that Calaris has been banging on about for years, and rightly so. Getting split loot on that west coast side is really effective. There's a lot of loot there. You can have a great game from that position.
Yeah, and it's very fortunate that the zone goes in their direction too, so they can just head up north, even probably take that Georgia Pole Bridge up north. So many different ways to head on into this one. Meanwhile, we saw Inco Gaming there on the feed. They were up near Kameshki, so they're going to be split looting Stalber, all that north side. We'll see them push on in. Brute Force are big chilling in Severny right now, so nothing really too crazy. And honestly, it's about time because we have seen like hot drops, teams getting shredded off the rip so far every game. And now this looks like a normal Aaron Gale.
We saw 3 hot drops in 2 matches, right? Like
that's right.
That's kind of wild when you consider the stakes here at PMWC, right? Getting to those top 4 spots, you need every game to count. You can't take the high variation plays as much as you can do in long-form tournaments, like those PMSL group stages. Obviously, in those stages, you're playing like 70 matches, right? Like, you've got a long time to make those up.
Guess what, though, John?
You've just, something has occurred to you, your brain is firing on all cylinders, and I want to know what's going on.
Team Spirit has broken the record, baby!
Let's go!
That's right! The longest they have been alive in this tournament is right here and right now. So they are setting the tone, John.
And that is what makes Kitsune such a fantastic IGL. He's told his team, you know what? Let's not die.
That's right. A bold decision. And you know what? It's always good to see the team listen to the IGL, John.
Yeah, absolutely.
You know, because every now and then you got some players that are like, no, I'm going to do my own thing. I'm going to go out early once again, you know? But instead, they say, you know, let's stay up. Let's play the game. Let's play the game for once.
As we all know, if you go down, it's always the IGL's fault.
That's correct.
It's never mine. Unless I'm IGLing, in which case I had bad teammates. I don't know what to do, man. Like, they can't. It's just impossible to play with this team, you know?
That is correct. And right now, Team Falcons are still looting in Novo, right? You can see them right here. They're going to be going to this really late. So they're opting for heavy loot and playing that edge style. And honestly, it's been working for them because they've been playing on the edge and have just been dominating these squads. Now, I would say this strategy that Team Falcons are doing right now, it's not so effective come finals time, right? Because every team is a monster squad. You do not want to go and just bite through the edge because it's very, very difficult to go through that unscathed. But, you know, here in the survival stage, yeah, these teams are all excellent, but you got nerves coming into play. You know, you have teams that have their back against the wall, and if you're a squad like Team Falcons, you're going to have that slight advantage, and they're totally utilizing it right now. That's why we see them in 3rd place.
Still, on 3 matches, you want to be pushing up to 30 points if you want a chance at those top spots. IWNRX, CG Osaka, both within 5-point striking distance, a fairly, well, not trivial, but certainly achievable task for both of these 2 rosters. If CG Osaka going to hold on the south of Severny, they're doing pretty well right now for position. IWNRX a little bit further away right now on the south edge. Falcons, you said they might not want to be sweeping through in the finals, but right now they have a long sweep to go from Novo, still on that military island. Still playing neighbors with Pandem, who are currently in that military base itself. Mad Bulls might be crashing into Rook here as, oh dear, Kipper Boss with the spray down doesn't get a knock though, and that is disastrous. That means that English can lead the charge. They're gonna play up, and look at this ridgeline. Immediately getting a crest.
Beautiful.
No idea. There is an answer though. Back from the Mad Bulls, they cut 1, they cut 2, and Rook now looking to try and get a flush. It's not gonna be there. They're taking everybody else out. They use Kipper Boss's aggression as bait, and they take the rest of Rook and send them straight to the back pocket. The points tally adds up.
Man, it looked like Rook was going to get there in time to be able to support their squad mate, but just a little bit too late. Mad Bulls, oh, that's actually a nice one. Gets the confirmation, or almost gets the confirmation. Kill Boss, gonna have to figure something out though, because yeah, Mad Bulls are gonna make it for this res. He peeks that door, he's gone. He has to know it. Yep.
Yeah. He
went for it.
They're in the perfect position immediately with that high ground, with the position around the buggy. You're just not getting it. There was information being fed back over to him by Solnik, his teammate, who was downed across the way. He said, they're going for the res, they're sticking it. And there really is only one thing you can do, because if that res goes through, you're facing 4 Mad Bulls and you're going down, right? There's basically just no 2 ways about it. So going for that peak, trying to get the player looking for the res, it's kind of the only thing you could do to salvage a point or 2.
I do agree, yeah, because he knew he was going down no matter what. Hit a 1v3 like that is going to happen. So, yeah, try to be able to steal away at least 1 elimination. Unfortunately, he wasn't. But right now, my eyes are going to be on that 11th place on down, John.
Okay.
Because it really is do or die. After this, never mind about what I'm about to say. This Southern shift makes things interesting, and a super fortunate shift for Team Falcons.
Absolutely a lifeline being thrown to them, but they don't even need it, right? They're at the top of the tables. Come on now, let's be fair. Down on the south side, IWNRX also pretty happy about this. CG Osaka on the other side, a little bit miserable.
Yeah, I mean, all these teams are feeling pretty miserable right now after that shift, except for the ones that you mentioned. But right again, I'm going to be looking at those leaderboards as we see Twisted Minds popping some shots off at Mad Bulls, because you got to remember, John, after this game, a quarter of the survival stage is done for.
That's pretty quick. I mean, like, we've only just started, right?
That's
I'm
right.
Sure. Someone check the calendar on that one, but absolutely, it is just going, and there is no relent from the pace of this one. Every time you put up a good result, it is just that small amount of weight lifted off your shoulders.
Yeah.
But it's still gonna be there. The pressure is so high right now.
Well, and it's even higher because I think if these teams, IGLs, have any understanding of this game, they're going to realize that they cannot wait until the last day, the last few games to make something happen as we look at this replay happen, because during the last day, there's going to be so many squads that know that they're done for. They're going to go home, and that has such an impact on their mental. So sometimes they just push willy-nilly. They just kind of go out of crazy, and that makes the last game so difficult to get points. So if you're a squad that wants to make it in the top 4, you really have to do it today, in my opinion.
Teams starting to get closer together, shoulder to shoulder. Only Rook down so far. Besiktas have lost a player. That went over towards IWNRX in their previous scrap, but nothing more than that. And as things start to get condensed with, let's say, 10-15% of the circle being cut off by the river on the north side, it's going to make it a little bit closer fought by these teams. The hills are starting to fill up. The areas around Pachinki as well going to start to pack out. And I'm not too sure how long it's going to take, but I think fairly soon those bullets are going to fly.
Yeah, I mean, no one's going into the north at this point because they know this circle is going to go south, most likely. So, yeah, it does essentially cut this zone into like circle number 4 when it's still very, very early on. So teams need to try to prioritize finding those locations. We're only in stage 2, but because of that river cutting off most of this map, it really makes things more difficult. You can see it right there. It looks like Brute Force are going to go north. That is a really, really tough bet right there.
They're still sort of milling about, though. I mean, they've got control of a crossing, so they wait for this shift and then commit. I mean, sure. And this is great now because they can flow down on that western side, move in towards ruins, because the high ground around that area still available. And if they've been scouting that with Chudo, they should know that they can make this rotation. The teams out to the east, they're going to have to fight off against one another. They could bide their time on the west for Brute Force and could have a pretty successful game here.
Well, it's going to be a party in Watertown, that's for sure. Yeah, you saw Brute Force trying to hedge their bets just in the off chance it did go north, but it did not. So it's going to be a party down near ruins. Pachinki, School, Edge of Roz is still going to be in play. You see Mad Bulls taking Rozhawk Hill right now. Inko are going to have to find their way in, and it's going to be a tough one because every spot in the middle of this circle is already taken.
CAG Osaka, they've moved down from the north side, but they have a team to worry about. Now, it's Team Spirit, who, frankly, at this stage, completely untested in these finals, right? Given that they've just been wiped out on hot drops, it's kind of not really indicative of what they're going to be bringing on a macro scale, right? They're just getting L's handed to them time and time again.
I was about to say.
And not really able to do anything other than just try and win the gunfight when you're put in that situation.
I was about to say, they've been tested. They failed the first 2 matches.
Oh,
that's
for sure.
Sure.
Yeah, okay,
but you know what? Now they're in the game. They're in the game. Let's see what can happen. But Twisted Minds are starting to press IWNRX. IWNRX currently on top of the leaderboards. They need to win this fight here. They want to put a big gap on the rest of this lobby. Twisted Minds going down. The beautiful shots there from Z-Wolf across the way, threading the needle through the window, and now giving them a big advantage.
A second knock as well on the south point of Sunken is not going to do wonders at all. It's going to be scrappy, it's going to be brutal, but IWNRX are not giving it their inch. Look at their health bars. They're so healthy. Swain took, what's that, like a tickle of damage, like 20 damage there. It's going to be nice and tidy for IWNRX on that south point Sunken.
What a play. To be able to take that fight and finish it so quickly as well, because that was a dominant position. The chances of getting third party were so high, and they got it done. That is 5 eliminations already. IWNRX are trying to punch their ticket to the finals nice and early. Meanwhile, CAG Osaka, we saw them have a really awesome game in the last one. Let's see what they could do here on this rotation. Meanwhile, Inko, yeah, just trying to pop some shots, trying to find some room in this next circle.
This is a really difficult circle, right? Because slap bang in the middle of it, I mean, we can see the map feed right now, but slap bang in the middle of it, there is this donut hole, a dearth of just open ground that sits there. It is deadly to move into this open terrain. We call it headshot hills. You call it, people call it whatever they want to call it. I like to call it headshot hills, right? Because you poke your head up, you're losing it.
That's right.
Very quickly. It's just such open ground. You can play it later on, but with all of these teams that surround the ground, you're losing so much of the terrain, and that is another nasty shift up towards Rozhawk.
The zone going even further north. All these teams on the south got to get moving. I'm looking at you, Team Spirit. They're going to have to cross through the Falcons of all squads here. Things are about to get spicy, and there's very little real estate. We got a little glimpse of it right there, and you can see it's almost like a golf course down there. Very few angles that are available. A couple little dips, couple bowls. You can see CAG Osaka trying to prioritize one here, but they're going to have to defend it with their lives.
This is a pretty big challenge now. Inko trying to move up towards the Mad Bulls is going to be potentially a very pivotal location in this next circle. Mad Bulls could get pushed off from the west in the meantime and get third parties on this engagement, but Inko yet to fully commit to it. Vitali, though, is moving up into position with that buggy, moving on through. The nades getting cooked. They want to slow this down. A lot of damage done to Gary, and Inko keep pushing.
They have a little bit of time with this fight, but we could see some teams third party. Team Spirit could become coming around the edge any second now, so they do got to get this fight done sooner rather than later. But Mad Bull's just trying to open it up with utility. Every single one of these players is looking to get that initial critical knock, but Team Spirit is on the way.
They are making their merry way from the south edge. They're looking for an opening. They have fallen a little bit short. They're not going fully in for this one just yet. They are just going to wait, bide their time, wait for that fight to pop off. IWNRX still scrapping. That's over with Besiktas. IWNRX, I believe, may have taken a knock there. No, Besiktas, sorry, are taking knocks over in Sunken as Inco do finally lose one of their players. And then Ibete on the backlines.
Yeah, Mad Bulls are going to continue to hold this hill with everything they got. Getting a nice knock there onto Gary. But they got to watch out that they don't get circumvented here. There is some spots that are still available on the other side of this hill, and look at this Inco getting knocked. But you see Team Spirit. Team Spirit is on the way.
2 points now for Team Spirit. They are off the starting line. They're playing with 2 matches less than everyone else, and they have the eastern side. They're looking for the contest. Inco got pushed away, swept aside on this one. TJB could potentially backfill onto this. They're a little way off right now near Roshok, but the same rotation available to them as was available to Team Spirit. So Team Spirit, are they going to make the same mistakes as Inco?
Let's see. Let's see. Effects going up there, trying to get a little bit of sight lines. He does know that Mad Bulls is there. But it looks like they're just trying to hold this edge for now. And honestly, that's not a bad idea because this next zone could shift away from this fight and they may have to prioritize another spot. So I think they're just trying to buy some time for now.
And there we go, TJB, they are just moving into the back. Naomi gets spotted from the high ground. 2 players from Team Spirit down, and it is not looking good for them. TJB do exactly what was happened to Inco, to Team Spirit. Effect tries to get away. It's history repeating itself.
Yeah, Team Spirit just maybe took too much time in that spot. They have to make a commitment eventually, but that's what happens whenever you don't play the first 2 matches. You can easily make some mistakes. Let's see if they could try to make something happen, though, as Effect does have an angle, but it is going to be a close one. Oh, that nade looks too good. How does it not get the knock? How about that second one? Just a little bit off the mark. As we watch Old Boy going for the res, gets it at the last second. Oh, never mind, they run over!
Oh, Neo's over the top in the UAZ, out to the blue zone. Old Boy with the spray, not connecting. A sweep around there for Neos, goes back with the smoke cover, hits the hop out, and Koa goes down. Neos going wild right now on the open terrain.
Brute Force trying to make everything they can happen right here, trying to keep their tournament hopes alive. 13 total points so far for them. And they're trying to wreck it up, but look at this. Here comes Seiji Osaka on the third party and wipes them out.
They're rolling it down, but there's still another team playing in the wings. Moneymakers putting themselves back together. You don't want to give them too much time here. Koa is down, but they're going to want to pick him back up as fast as possible. That comes through. Seiji Osaka with a knock on the back line. Going to have to turn their attention there if they want to stay as 4. And Moneymakers so tight together. The nade potential here is huge. It is getting cooked. Another one from the back line. That looks good, but they're in the vehicle and they're getting away. They're trying to turn tail and run, and it's going to work out unless the spray connects. Looks for the front line, but isn't going to be there. They turn around, they stick the res, and now Seiji Osaka let Moneymakers get away with it.
See ya! Moneymakers said, we are out of this one. They get to another bowl, but now here comes Team Falcons on the press. 2 minutes are remaining here. This zone is starting to close. Oh, what a knock. Top goes down. That's going to hurt.
MVP himself is going to fall first. Icy. Second to go. And the rest of the Falcons not ready for the re-engage. DRX are on the third party potential from the eastern side on this engagement, and they're going to surround all of this. Pandem trapped inside the house, but I don't think you want to step too close.
Ooh, don't, because they just got punished twice in a row. Now here comes Seiji Osaka looking to finish off the Moneymakers. They get the run over, and I believe it's only 1 player up left. Yep, it is good old Icy Boss, and he's in a really tough spot.
He's a little bit further removed from the rest of the scraps, but he's got some terrain to play around. Getting over to it is going to be hard once that south fight concludes. There are sightlines over this direction, but for now, Icy Boss is a little bit safer. Meanwhile, over on the eastern side, you've got Harame Bro and D plus Kia going hell for leather into a scrap to find any sort of cover over there. Hold out for DRX potential, as it is just shotgun shells flying back and forth. A lot of damage being done, nearly finding something miraculous there, but the 1v3 not going to happen.
Team Pandem are making it happen right now as we watch Team Falcons go out. 7 eliminations for them, so they have woken up. They were currently in 4th place prior to this match. looking to top the leaderboards. This is a great start for them. But IWNRX have 6 eliminations. CAG Osaka have 4. And even the Mad Bulls are starting to get into it with their last 2 players.
The Mad Bulls had a strong position for a long, long time. Remember, they were playing that Roshok Hill. They had, I think it was 3 teams try and push them from the same direction, though. So they just concentrated that cone of fire, and in doing so, they've managed to decimate so many of the teams near them. Unfortunately, TJB, that last wave, a little bit too much for those towers to defend.
Well, let's see what happens here. As you can see, Team Pandem starting to snake their way into this one. Looking to get as many points as they possibly can. Honestly, with this zone, IWNX are looking so good, but CAG Osaka, Garnet, trying to soak up even more eliminations. And that's Team Spirit gone.
That is another bad
performance
chalked up. A beautiful nade placement there. Sees Pandem's demise come into effect. And this circle just again goes to Sunken. IWNRX gonna be helped out another time. Remember Sandhawk? It's happening again.
Ooh, and when it happens twice like this, you gotta be just putting your hands together looking like a fly. You know what I'm saying? Because they are ready to just take this beautiful meal that's right in front of them. There are so many players that are stuck out in the open. It's gonna be difficult to make it on in.
Look at old Jeff Goldblum and stuff like that. That's an old school reference right there. But they are certainly going to be happy to play on this South Point Sunken, where they were able to hold out effectively. 4 players alive. They've got a lot to do, though. Besiktas behind them could be pretty tricky to dispatch if the circle shifts out to the west on this.
Look at this, Robbie Pro are wide in the open. There's only this little hill of coverage. They're gonna have to drive.
Right?
Yeah, you can see them. They got their vehicles ready. They didn't throw out any smokes at all. Actually, no, yeah, they did throw one, and now they are on the move. But CAG Osaka is gonna have a wide open shot at them. Not able to take him out of a vehicle just yet. He goes for the quick reload. Is he gonna be able to catch this last straggler? He does.
Beautiful spray down to get the back line and immediately goes for the flush. 8 eliminations for CAG Osaka.
That's good.
A potential surprise entry at the top of the tables right now. I don't think too many people would have put them there in their top 4. On the southeast side, though, they've still got to push in a little bit further, and Harame Bro managed to get 3 through.
Take it to the bank. Sometimes you got to make a player sacrifice. That's exactly what they did. But they do have CAG Osaka on their backs with some beautiful angles against them. Those smokes are going to go away eventually. Let's see what IWNRX is going to do. Are they going to prioritize shooting this remaining player on the hill, or are they going to let him take out Bro first?
It's an interesting quandary, right? You don't want CAG Osaka to be able to push through, but at the same time, you got more to worry about. Maybe take them both out at the same time. That'll work. That would be the best result, right? TJB, by the way, the last team to make that east side rotate, that wide swing towards the South Rozhok high ground, has started to gain momentum now. 7 eliminations on the side. They're playing on the east. They can get this res. However, their next move is their most difficult rotation of this match. If they can get into a stronghold position from here, I would be very surprised, given how clumped up and open their next set is.
Yeah, they're completely stuck right there. I don't think they have any vehicles as well, but CAG Osaka run out into the open, get a couple of knocks onto Harame Bro, but that is going to be it. 9 eliminations for them. Great game. Regardless, Harame Bro down in 13th place. Just you can see them fighting for their lives right now. Their tournament life, as a matter of fact. TJB, got to worry about Inko. Nunez is right here. He can get all these players.
Oh, no.
He gets 2. Goes for the 3rd. Oh, gets him down to 1 HP, but gets caught by Mashita's Black.
Oh, the off angle with the PPP zone gonna take them down, and TJB can put themselves back together here. With all of the teams on the eastern side dispatched now, they have open ground to try and cover. Smokes are there, they need to look for something, but where can they go? It is so terrifying to make this move.
They can go to the lobby. That's where they're going right now. I'll tell you that right now, because good luck. That is a terrible spot, but you know what? Sometimes you just gotta deal with what you get. And they are out of this next circle. If anybody's even looking in the direction, they are done for.
Harame Bro.
Oh, and look at that.
On the south side. It's just so open sightlines from this building, and IWNRX haven't had to move a muscle in so long on this one. They've already got 7 eliminations. With the Sandhawk, with this game as well, they are staring downhill at the rest of the teams in this lobby at this stage.
Yeah, they have just been circle blessed once again. They got it in Sandhawk. They crushed it. TJB with the smoke walls right here, inching closer and closer and closer.
They got the terrain.
They might even make it into this next zone right here. So it ends up working out for them. I'm surprised that IWNRX wasn't keeping a closer eye on that smoke wall. Z-Wolf saw him, but instead deciding to group up closer and closer. It looks like they're going to leave it to their gun skill towards the end.
In they go. They're looking for a little peek around towards Harame Bro, but I don't think Harame Bro want the Thunder. It is going to try and keep that one in the bottle for the time being. One nade on their side, but look at the amount of nades for TJB. They've been able to roll through, remember, like about 4 squads worth of supplies, so they should be pretty kitted up. Another nade over the top towards Bro. That's the Long's last nade. Flower has one of his own. They keep the ordnance going. They're burning off that ridge line. I think that was supposed to go a little bit longer with the Molotov. Unlikely that you get someone peeking from that angle. If you did, IWNRX would take him down.
TJB saying, how much you want to bet I could throw a nade over those mountains right there? And coming up short. Meanwhile, there we go. Here comes Wolf trying to get another knock on the TJB. The nades are starting to ring out. One player up left for Harame Bro. Ooh, nades going back and forth. Not prioritizing the res at all. Stands up, gets a knock.
With the shots ringing out, Besiktas have tried to make their move, but they're being slowed down. There is a knockback over towards TJB on the linearized fight here, but Longs is there. And a nade from the off angle. IWNRX flexing out, fighting 3 teams right now. IWNRX still playing as 4, but they have got a knock on that north side. They are going to have to try and pull that one back in, but it's unlikely to be an easy hold. Swain nades over, TJB back together. 4 players alive on that open ridgeline. They've actually managed to make the crossing, Hot Jukes.
They do make it to that edge, and that is super fortunate for them. And if IWNRX and Besiktas Black go into an engagement here, TJB can third party. So let's see how this ends up playing out. This is stage 8, folks. The zone is about to go into nothing. The pressure is on, and it's really up to IWNRX to finish off strong.
They are the meat in this sandwich right now. And the team with the most to gain. A massive lead going into the first set of matches would be the reward for taking this one down here. They've already got quite a few eliminations. TJB looking to chase as well. And Besiktas Black chasing for their tournament lives.
Let's see what happens. TJB are right there on the edge. They were currently sitting in 4th place. Down, all the way down is Besiktas Black, though. They have the most to gain. They need this game, and they need this chicken dinner if they want to put themselves in contention for top 4. If you're anybody else on this leaderboard, if you're fans watching of anybody that's not currently in the game right now, you need to be cheering on Besiktas Black with everything that you got.
Absolutely. You do not want the teams at the top to accelerate away from you. More and more of those top 4 places are going to get secured as time goes on.
That's right.
Going to be so much harder to take them away. If you allow IWNRX to cement themselves in those top 4 spots with an early lead like this, you're only going to have 3 chances left.
That's right. Yeah, not to mention TJB aren't that far off as well. They already had 20 points before going into this match. So they could definitely put that gap even further ahead. Taking another one of those spots. Look at that angle, though. Oh, my goodness. He saw almost 3 of those players. Gets one. And perfectly on time, too, because they're not going to be able to get that res.
A little bit slow on the hop up onto the windowsill means that he can't flush on the rest of them. There's a knock sent back to Swain, and Besiktas Black need to move.
Oh,
the circle is closing. The flush looks to come through onto Flower, kind able to do a lot more work onto the backlines. Besiktas trying to cross, and TJB are slowing them down in the meantime. All teams fighting now. TJB with the high ground ridgeline, and Kine goes down as well. GK first holds it out for TJB.
Tospic gets the nade and another knock. So you can see 2 of these teams focusing on to TJB. Those are the easy eliminations ahead of them. GK first does make it to the tree. And now we see Besiktas Black start to throw some nades towards IWNRX. But so far the pressure is off. They have so much coverage. Let's see what Tospic can do. Can he hit another huge nade here? Second thoughts. He waits for it.
As it stands, I'm giving it to TJB. On the outside here, Besiktas have to mount in a single line. IWNRX are there as well. The ridgeline is there. The blue zone's going to push these buildings out. and you have to jump into dangerous positions. A forward break for them. GK first nearly goes down. He doesn't have any first aids, but Swain has to leave this roof soon. Toshpik stands up, doesn't get the spray down. TJB just need to hold out for just moments longer, and they'll have it. Kine up to the wall. GK first goes down, and Swain still in the building, able to do so much damage to them on the backlines. It's all up to Longs, but Besiktas have a shout as well. Zekwolf pushes in. IWNRX trying to move on through, find a second chicken dinner on the day, and turn their fate around in the survival stage.
Tospic
holding on for dear life downhill, but it's only going to burn hotter and hotter as IWRX send out wide. 2 players on the sidelines though, and they're lining them up. 1 more player to go, and Poser's there. TJB all the while holding out for just a moment longer. Swain now with it all to do, and IWNRX put a second match on the board.
Are you kidding me? They are gonna rocket launch up the leaderboards. They're already in first place. That gap is gonna start looking really big. There's only been 3 matches so far. I mean, what more could you ask for if you're an IWNRX fan? This is a perfect start.
This is momentum, Hot Jukes. This is how you want to carry yourselves. Standing tall into the survival stage, beaten back, dejected, demoralized potentially from the group stage performance. They have risen, and nothing makes you shine quite as bright as those shadows behind you.
Oh boy, and you know what? That shadow is starting to grow even bigger right here, because that was a heck of a game for IWNRX. You talk about momentum. I know Jason Kaplan there in the studio. I can't wait to see what his momentum meter looks like, because for IWNRX, it's got to be breaking the charts.
Absolutely brilliant way to kick things off. I was saying top 4 gonna be sat towards the high 80s, around that 90-point mark. So far, they have put a massive dent in that. They have got, I think, up to around 40 or more points so far in the first half of today. Given their 2 chicken dinners, given their elimination count, I thought TJB were going to have it. But then Swain from the top floor of that building took down the entire ridgeline.
Swain was so smart.
Huge.
Swain was so smart because he could have taken that roof. I think a lot of players would have, but he knew that, you know what, nades are going to be ringing out onto this position. I can't afford it, even though the sightlines are great. Let's look at the reactions here. Oh, so excited.
They are ready for this one, and so am I. I mean, I was so disappointed with their group stage, because this is a roster that took our breath away back in EMEA.
Yeah.
They had so much power. It was all the Zed Wolf show, but right there, I think that was Swain's game.
I think so. I mean, that angle there was absolutely critical to the rest of that match. He was able to get beautiful sight lines on everybody down there and was just making it happen. So IWNRX, we know they're going to be in first place, but just by how much? That's the question.
That is the question, indeed. CAG Osaka, they got a little bit done in that match as well. A lot of points being accrued, but we've got to march on with the matches. That's going to be it from us today, but there's more games for you guys to watch. We're going to be handing it over to Blank and Jackie on the caster desk, but first, we've got to go to the analyst box.
Welcome back to the PUBG Mobile World Cup at the Esports World Cup. My name is the 7WG, and I'm joined by Kitsune from Team Spirit. Kitsune, what happened in this first 2 matches?
Basically, we had a contest on Sanhok, and it is what it is. We just had like really bad fight for us. We got the first knock, and then they just pushed like as a 4, so it was a tough one. But it didn't honestly matter. We knew that, so we can either get like 4 kills or we just die fast. So, you know, it happens. It happens. It's just normal. You have to keep the mentality and focus on the next games. But then there's the wrangler happened. We fought for the garage, and it's just unlucky. There are like just few guns, and they dropped like a little bit faster, so they got the guns, and we had basically no chance there. I mean, just a tough 2 games, you know. We still understand that we just need to get to the top 4, like first place, second place, third place, doesn't matter. Honestly, only top 4 means for us a lot. So it's just like a challenge at this point for us, you know, get like top 4 in 10 games. So it is what it is.
Right on, man. Well, hey, I appreciate your time, and best of luck on the next matches. Back to you guys.
What they wanna live for. Can I for?
Winner chicken dinner for IWNRX. They get themselves not just one, not just two, but just two chicken dinners so far in today. I realized after I said that made no sense. But a big showing by this team coming from Turkey to really show what they've got and obviously try to get themselves through into the main event. For you guys who are watching at home, while you're watching, make sure you guys are checking out that PUBG Mobile has been nominated for the Mobile Esports Game of the Year. You can actually see a QR code appear down below me where you guys can actually go vote. And while you're voting for that, you can also vote for the Esports Analyst of the Year, which if I'm not mistaken, Seven, you might be on the list for that.
I am. I'm currently a finalist. Surprised. I don't know how that happened.
How does that make you feel, Max, man, that he got put in except
I suck, I know, I get it. No, I'm really bad. He's just better, okay? He's built different.
There's a requirement to the amount of shows you have to be on and not be sick on to be nominated, unfortunately. But while you guys are watching as well, make sure you guys follow PUBG Mobile Esports over on TikTok and also post a video of you doing your favorite victory dance, either in-game or out-of-game with the hashtag PMWC victory dance. Get the camera on them. What is this? And you can be entered to win a chance of $3,000 virtual gift cards. Max, favorite victory dance, let's go.
Oh,
hey, you were gone 3 days, man. We gotta put it all on you.
Go sweeping the floor with my enemies, yes.
Okay, all right. I can get behind that. But gentlemen, IWNRX, man, two chicken dinners on the first day here of our survival stage, and this is a team that's showing they want to survive. They want to make it to the main event. They want to play for that $1.5 million.
They want to survive this stage. And that's
it. That's about it.
No, but I mean, really, they were given an opportunity, I would say here, Seven, that shouldn't have been given to them, which is those buildings to the east of Sunken City or Atlantis or whatever the hell you want to call it, should not have been given to them for free. And Besiktas just, we don't want a piece of that. And then give them a game-winning position.
Yeah, they were willing to coexist for a long time. Something that I did like, though, that we're kind of able to point out with IWNRX is the angle that they were able to get on TJB. Kane at the end, that was perfect. Given though he wasn't able to get a lot of eliminations, but just putting that extra pressure, he did end up getting a one-player knock and an extra elimination. That kind of stopped TJB from even thinking about possibly third party in a fight.
What you have to do when TJB are getting pushed by the blues to slow down that rotation, right? Just keep them out in the blue, take damage. It did kind of suck for Kane at the end because he had some nice shotgun shots, go whoop, out in the blue, knocked away. So that was a bit unfortunate. Like,
he was 100%.
So he was blue Kane and then he was Kane.
He was Kane in the blue,
Yeah, okay. But we are seeing like Falcons there on the second page, Team Spirit on the second page with just 3 points. Inco as well there. It's getting tough for some of these teams. I mean, I know you can't say they can have a bad match or two, but if you the thing is, it's not top 12 anymore. That's the point I'm trying to nail home here. It's top 4, which is insanely hard getting that alone, but getting it into a lobby of this caliber is even more difficult. What's up?
Especially with the way some of the other teams are playing now that are currently towards the top, right? Now, this is the second win out of NRX with the way that they're currently performing. If they, for some reason, today end up getting another chicken dinner, or if they end up getting some good placement points and some good elimination points, it's going to be hard for teams to pass them tomorrow. So that could be one team already qualified, right? So for teams like Inco, for some of the other teams like Team Spirit, when by the way, when Kitsune told me that he just wanted to keep on hot dropping, I was like, what? But why?
No, doesn't make any sense.
Yeah.
Well, we're talking about, you did mention before about the Besiktas here sitting in Watertown, IWNRX there as well. The Besiktas, though, I feel like we did see them just playing very passive when it came to the group stage, and we're kind of seeing that passiveness show yet again.
Passiveness is not going to qualify you in top 4. That's the issue. It's not going to be enough, right? You need to get elimination, just placement points. No, it's not going to cut it at all. You need to get any strong positions like where IWNRX were, and you like Kane, as you mentioned, his angle was so oppressive. You want to see them get involved in the fights, get every single one of these opportunities, because otherwise you're just not going to make it to the finals here. So we need to see a big change of pace for them, because teams that are opportunistic like IWNRX, you do one mistake, they're going to snatch that position away.
A team that was quite a surprise for me, especially with the way that they have performed so far in this survival stage, is, and I can't believe I'm currently going to say their name, Kago Osaka. I mean, the way this team has been able to play, especially this last match, they were able to kind of wait for the right time, find a location straight down the middle of the circle, and actually defend it against some of the other teams. Yeah, it was a big surprise, because this team, if you would have told me that Kago Osaka was going to be doing that after what I saw at group stages, I would have been like, no, you're crazy. But for some reason, it's a completely different Kago Osaka.
But you could say the exact same thing about IWNRX too, right?
Yep.
They were at the pretty much bottom of the leaderboards.
Maybe is that they're feeling a little bit more confident, right? I mean, we even saw it early on with Team Falcons, with the way that they were able to perform. They just didn't really care. They were just hunting people down.
Get out of here. I'm trying to make room for our lovely commentators. We got Jackie, we got Blank, looking fantastic today, gentlemen. What's your take on the first half of your survival stage?
Oh, Jason, it's been spicy, man. We were sat there looking on the phone in the shuttle, getting to the green room, eyes honed into the screen. It's been non-stop. And honestly, the fact that we get the last 3 games, I can't wait, Blank.
Look, our backs are straight here, posture's good, but honestly, it's IWNRX who's flying straight at the moment. They are going straight for gold right now in first place. I'm happy to see it. I'm really happy to see it, but they're a bully team.
Oh, yeah.
And they're bullying.
Well, they keep bullying.
Well, just like your shirt, Blank, I think IWNRX are all smiles considering the performance they've had so far today. But the thing for them is they got to maintain it. They don't have to play at that kind of level of getting chicken dinners, but as long as they keep this stride in, right? As long as they just keep getting... Yeah, I don't want him closer to me. Get him out of here. As long as they just keep getting points now, like the position they put themselves in with 2 wins, they don't need to win another game. Just consistently get points, and you're going to be able to glide into the finals.
Don't do a D plus Kia. Avoid that, okay?
And he just cursed them.
Bro, 3 matches, 51 points. Like, that is ridiculous.
That is ridiculous. And I mean, Kago Osaka, too, with what I was talking about, that team. 24 eliminations, for them to have that many eliminations, that's a massive surprise for me. Team Falcons, I mean, obviously, this last match didn't end up working out for them. But yeah,
It's not great. But actually, we saw TJB then in 3rd place.
Yes.
We wanted to talk a little bit about their game. Their early rotations that you wanted to bring up was actually on point.
It was so good because they were in the south and then decided to rotate all the way to the east, evading a lot of fights, waiting for the right moment, and actually getting into the circle and then just kind of waiting it out, right? Unluckily for them, what happened at the end, Max?
I actually really like their push, because once they eliminated Mad Balls on Rozhok Hill, they start playing that big stretch of, like, there's a little bit of a dirt hill they can play that keeps them safe from IWNRX, keeps them safe from also Besiktas Black, and then the circle pushes them over that, which they can't quite survive, but it was a really good late game transition
to come in
for TJB.
Do you notice something here on this front page?
A lot of stuff. Which one?
Okay, so look at Falcons. 1 placement point, 20 eliminations.
Yeah.
4th place.
Wait.
What? You're talking about TJB, I'm talking about Falcons.
I just talked about them before, yeah.
Hey guys,
it's
our
fine.
MVP's here.
It's IHC 2.0. It's fine. It's what they do over in Mongolia. I don't know.
I don't know what's going on with that.
Okay. A little bit scary for me. Wait, hold on. What? Okay. Moneymakers. We saw a big change, right, in regards to the roster with them. Old Boy was going to be coming in.
Yep.
I was wondering how that was going to be able to affect them. Now we're kind of halfway through the day. We really haven't seen much out of Moneymakers.
That Sanhok, they had like some good entry points, where they had that hot drop, of course, happening in Painan. Yeah, we haven't really seen anything from them. We're still waiting. It's only 3 matches, right?
Yeah.
But actually, now that it's 3 matches, we've got
3
12 matches.
We're like,
actually, no, it is quite, it's getting quite urgent. So we need to see something.
And like other teams that were towards the bottom, a team that I kind of wanted to talk about at the beginning of the show, which was Inco Gaming. Man, I'm being let down with the way they're currently performing, because this team was coming in hot after the 2nd day. They were able to perform really, really well in Erangels, and right now it's a big letdown, and I hate how late they're rotating.
Bad circles and slow rotations doesn't go that well together.
But gentlemen, did you see Falcons there? 1 placement point and 20 eliminations.
Wait, what?
What?
No, I'm just thinking.
I didn't see that.
I mean, Falcons and Sim step up. The thing is, look at the bottom of the leaderboard. Teams need to step up pretty much right now if they want to have a chance to get top 4, or that goalpost is continue to move further and further and further away. And we're going to move further on along down to the stage here with Banks and Sandstorm.
Arena for your half-time breakdown with myself, Barney, and Sandstorm. We are 3 maps into our survival stage. So we're going to talk you through a little bit about who won those winner chicken dinners.
Yeah, it's not going to take that long because we actually had one team take 2 chicken dinners throughout our 3 games. It started off strong with Istanbul Wildcats next Ruya, 12 elims in that Sandhawk game, followed by CAG Osaka finally swinging in the second game of the day. 8 elims for themselves, but then it was once again Istanbul Wildcats with 16. They're on 51 points right now, just after 3 games.
It's popping off over here on the main stage, but also don't forget that PUBG Mobile version 3.3 launches their first ever underwater-themed gameplay with Ocean Odyssey.
That's right, and we do have quite a lot of things to talk about. We have, of course, the coveted item, the trident, that you will need to take out that Kraken. It's going to be a tough task with that trident, but you still have quite a lot of things. You have a lot of places to discover as well. We have these Forsaken Ruins, we have the Ocean Palace, and you know what? You can actually explore all those places too with the new vehicles. We have the Gleaming Stingray and we have the Whale Escape Pod too, along with a couple of weapons too, but we'll get into all of that later, Barney.
Yes, we will. It looks so crisp. I absolutely love it, but we've just got 3 maps remaining today, don't we? Remember, only 12 maps in total for this survival stage, so time's ticking.
That it is. Second half is about to begin, so let's see who will be the teams that will come out on top in our next 3 games. Will the Falcons fly high? Will the Bulls go mad? Or will Twisted lose their minds? It is time to jump into the second half. Boys and girls, take it away.
Thank you, guys. We're in the booth, ready to bring some fire and flames to this one. The last 3 games of the day to kick off day 1 of the survival stage. And already, some of the squads blank starting to deliver, other falling behind. And they've got to bring up that pace. They've got to play with passion and ferocity right now.
Some teams punching the trees right now. They've created themselves a bit of shelter towards the top side of the lobbies. Others, they've been left out cold in the night towards the bottom side. You got Team Spirit. What is that? 2 points in 3 matches. Disgraceful behaviour.
Spirit, where you been?
Spirit, where you been?
Spirit, where you been?
It's not good. It is really, really not good. And honestly, for Team Spirit, it's sort of a team that I thought would come into this were just swinging, honestly, and they just haven't picked up the pace so far. IWNRX, on the other hand, hats off to them. They're doing really well.
Oh yeah, they are. But man, you know how you'd be doing really well, Blank? If you had yourself one of those GT20 Pros, you were playing PUBG Mobile on it, you'd be doing really well.
Yeah, I'd be seeing everything. Beautiful display, beautiful phone. Designed with that cyber mecha finish. Ooh, jeez. It's nice.
Oh, it really is. It really
I'd pick it up just for that sentence alone.
You got it. That's the tagline. That's how they reel you in. They've seen your shirts. They know.
They're like, ooh, I can get this guy. I say the word cyber, you say the word buy. I'll be like, yes.
Yeah, that's a sale. And it's going to be a fire sale of games that we have remaining for the last portion of the day. And I'm glad we're in the booth for it, expecting some absolute scenes when we get into this one. And it's only going to get more fierce, trying to decide who's actually going to break into that top 4, if we're going to have much of a shift towards the end of the day. Because honestly, Blank, survival stage is over before it's even really started. You have to accumulate those points in such a short space of time. Leave no stone unturned. You've got to live or die by the sword.
It's fast. Time's ticking. The hourglass, the sands of time are running out for some of these teams. So they've got to slap the sands in a hand, rub it together, and try and get something done because they're losing their grip on these matches so far. And I think that you look at some of these squads, I mean, Moneymakers, 10 points. D plus Kia came out swinging on that first day of gameplay over in the group stage, and yet here they are. What a fall from grace that they have had. But some teams are really living in the moment. IWNRX in particular, 51 points over 3 matches. That is an unbelievable scoreline. They are on, to put this in perspective, an 100-point day at the end of the day at this rate, which I think is unlikely, but they basically qualified off that alone.
Yeah, they've given themselves a real big buffer and potentially put a bit of a target on their backs. That's the only element that we could see if they can stop being such a point hoover over the course of the rest of today, or how that storyline's going to develop. But it's interesting, man. We're coming in at a fever pitch of the competition here in the survival stage. And we've not been live for very long today, but it's already getting tasty.
I feel like I can kind of understand what's happening. I said it before, but this is a bully team, right? Once you sit them in a lobby with the feeder teams, which these guys aren't really, but they're the feeder teams at the international scale, let's put it that way. I think that they will just go absolutely ham, and they're going to take fights wherever they want. And I think that's the good thing about IWNRX, is that they have that ability just to force teams out of position off pure gun skill alone. I do think that perhaps this is more of a sense that the group stage was too much pressure for them. I think that they were really feeling the heat over there. You put them in this setting, not much to lose at this point. It's just a quick send to the top 2 days. You don't have a lot of time. They're just giving it. And I think this is how they should have played during the group tournament. But it's happened that it came a little bit too late, but also just in time.
Oh, yeah, exactly. And I think, again, as well, you get a little bit more time to acclimate to the grand stage. You know, it's huge down there. I mean, even in real life, outside of camera, like, you see just how intense that stage is. Everyone stacked on top of one another, all the eyes on you, the crowd that's in the STC arena as well. Like, there is quite a lot of energy. So trying to fix those mistakes as the day's going on, where you don't have much time in between days, it's rough for you, bud. But at least that 1 day break, open the bag a little bit, reset mentally, come in here and try and put your best foot forward. They're doing that.
Yeah, I've seen IWNRX. I've been chilling. I think that more than anything, these guys have been raring to go. I think they would have rather played yesterday because they realized they had that full reset in their hands. But this is the team that I don't think wants to go quietly into that night. They would love to get themselves into the main tournament, show their fans what they can do, because they can certainly hit some big numbers, some big shots. DRX currently on our screens. Bit of a change of pace for them today. They were looking a little bit better towards the start of things, and then once again have fallen off. It has been a rough tournament so far for DRX. Coming off the back of, you know, quite some decent games over in their own region into this, it's just pretty bad. Yeah. We can leave it there at pretty bad. And we've moved on to Harami Bro, who were equally suffering in that group tournament. I don't think there was too many teams that were suffering that badly, but between DRX and Harami Bro, things were just not working, and it looks like the car is still broke for both these teams.
Meanwhile, Team Spirit on your screens as well. Their average survival time today hasn't been great for them. They've been struggling in the open moments.
About 30 seconds.
Yeah, bro, like a few seconds at least. I mean, maybe
they've glimpsed them
up a bit, but it's going to be really hard for them, man. It feels quite sad. You know, you've come in, been already deflated over the course of the first three. How'd you get that steam back?
Yeah, possibly even defeated at this point in time, because I don't know how you get that steam back rolling. They're going to have to be over by the engine, shoveling the coal in, because that's all they can really do at this point in time, and just try and hype each other up at this midpoint of the day. You've got 9 more games. IWNRX has sort of just sent it, right? Which effectively, if IWNRX doesn't continue to do silly things, right, throughout the rest of the day, there is 3 spots available. We'll put it that way.
Already one of them almost feeling like it's guaranteed with how the games have gone so far.
It's the confidence, dude.
Yeah, it's kind of crazy, right? You take the elevated angle, you instantly spot out Nomi, separated from the rest of the Spirit squadron. You put bullets onto him, he barely gets out. Got to retreat, recoil, try and reset with the rest of the gang. But Wolf laser focus, those eyes are hooked in. He knows. Anyone comes through this jungle, they're a target.
The funny thing is that, you know, Zed Wolf, pretty beefy guy, right? You know, never wears the glasses though on broadcast. Today, the glasses have come out.
Long range shots
you
gonna
can
be looking
tell
good.
He's locked in. He's locked in for survival stage. You know what? I've got to bring out the rims. It's required. It's required here in this prestigious tournament. There goes the top side there. We've got Brute Force, Chudo, taking shots over towards Pandem. Moneymakers, very similar to Brute Force, I would say, but not for this tournament. They have really changed things up. And although Moneymakers aren't doing great right now, I really want to compliment them during their group stage, because I think that they've had a massive shift in playstyle from EMEA into the World Cup. And I think for PMWC, this is a very, very tough tournament. And to shift your playstyle around that much in such a short order, very, very impressive. So although Moneymakers, they might not make it into that top 4, I think that they could be very proud of themselves, what they've been able to achieve here. And I think that when they go back through to EMEA for the next Super League, they'll be doing very well off the back of it.
It was nice bumping into Old Boy as well yesterday. He was asking how Max Man was doing, saying he hopes to see him back on the broadcast, and he's finally got his wish. Max has returned, and maybe that will give them the extra stock they need there.
Yeah.
A little bit of Max Man energy, get everyone playing better. You don't want to disappoint Max, Blank.
You do not, because he will curse you.
He'll let you know.
He'll let you know. Get out his little cauldron, start brewing some potions. You'll feel a little pinch in the night, you know it's all over.
I've been maxed.
I've been maxed.
Yeah.
I've been maxed upon. And I think that realistically, Max does also bring a blessing. You know, as much as he curses teams, there's also blessings there as well. Next circle, though, all the way down to Primorsk. A lot of water in this one, but we're shoving teams down towards that south side. Slight slope that heads down towards that south side, but it is Primorsk, which is the main feature here, as well as those beachheads, which teams might have to circumvent around the side of. A tough rotation for a lot of squads, but on top of that, there is the swamps, there's some compounds around here, but it is these rotations inwards that are getting dangerous. Team Spirit find themselves a flush and a knock early on here. Happy with that one. Weakening Rook as they pass through and looking for some more.
It's just been Nomi. He's happy to roam further ahead of the pack, take that anchor role and start off those engagements when he sees isolated fights. And it's a clean one to take. You instantly take that one elim point, slow down Rook a little bit and force them to get on moving. Problem is, there could be a backstab as the rest of Spirit are taking heavy casualty now.
Panda taking shots over towards Effect. Not an easy player to lose there. Kind of reminiscent to how we've seen Team Liquid playing in that group stage, despite them, you know, just sauntering in towards the end, but they were constantly playing a man down, and that's tough to do and still make it in. DRX shots over towards Besiktas Black, and it was always going to be this case where moving into this circle, extremely rough, requires a different caliber of team to make it. But Tongji Bao taking names as a couple of players from Moneymakers feel the burn.
Isolated and already taking a lot of damage to kick this one off then. It's TJB are in a good spot. You've got nades coming downhill at least, but the compound control will provide them with cover, and there's a wall of smokes ahead of them. They even look for the opportunity to strike in the back, trying to play medic as well. One man down. You've got to think about your priorities here. Slide him down the hill, get the smoke walls up, and isolate these angles. Don't give a free peek for Koa as he's roaming around with a vehicle.
And right now, Tongji Bao feeling slightly weakened as they do have to invest a player into that res, which effectively sets them at a 2-player count there. The Moneymakers, they sort of wanted to try and take advantage of that as much as they can. Brute Force look to have made a little bit of a boat rotation down towards that south side to get into Primorsk. Pretty big gamble, I would say, though. The circle not quite closed in as heavily as some others so far. So I think for Brute Force going down here, yeah, big gamble into Primorsk. Let's see if it pays off.
Yeah, it could be some big angles that other teams
find
against them, you know, you never know, but could make it a little bit awkward. The Mad Bulls just on the cusp, everyone else on parade as they slowly usher themselves forward into that smaller zone. A lot of it, like you say, just being taken up by the deep blue sea. No Poseidon action here though, Blank. No Tridents to try and help you out controlling these bumpy waters.
That's for sure, but talking to Tridents, you got Team Spirit currently on their trio on that eastern side, desperately trying to stay relevant in this tournament. A team that came second place, first place, second place in their group stage, only now to fall short in their finals, and looks like they're falling short now here in the survival stage. It is a team that I think a lot of people had high hopes for coming into the PMWC, at least the survival stage, but they are not delivering. But there is so many eyes on their back here, Jackie.
Everyone wanting to target them, realizing they're already so far down a slippery slope to start off today. So if they make mistakes, it could get very bumpy for them quite early. D+ Kia spotting out the rotate from Pandem as well as they come down the wayside. Got to kick it into second gear here. Try and get out of the angle. Avoid being tagged up by those bullets. A little bit of chip damage onto a few of them. One takes a heavy hit in the back as well.
Yeah, it's a tough rotation for a lot of teams here, Jackie, honestly. I think that right now, I would say Moneymakers have actually played this quite cleanly despite losing a player, which is difficult, but getting down this coast on the western side has a decent ridgeline to play off the back of. The difficulty is going to be now, Jackie, is playing up towards that northern edge where you've got 3 teams sat and waiting with CAG, Osaka, Tongji Bao, as well as Inko, who have been really wanting some points here.
Inko and they build something up for us the longer this one goes on. DRX with the nades, casting those out one after another. You see the opportunity to seize this engagement versus Pandem. A well-placed nade could be the difference maker. Shots round the side of the tree as well. Carving the DRX logo into the bark, but it's the nade that has more bite.
Pandem will just try and hold on here. Your players down towards that south side. With the cheeky peek there as much as he can, but it's DRX who is just blowing them out the water right now. They're stuck in this ditch. Not much they can do about it. But this is a very central position, at least for DRX. They're alongside with the final player, I believe, now from Team Spirit. What a horrendous run it has been for them.
Yeah, it hasn't gotten any easier over the course of the day. Feels like you've been hit with the unlucky stick, and each and every game we're seeing that spin cycle occur to them. Pandem as well, only down to the solo off of that engagement they were locked into with DRX. Going to make it harder for you to rack up more points, keep the safety net in 4th place.
I love this rotation from the Moneymakers, heading directly down to the south now. They hear a lot of the shots on that northern side. They're like, this is not for us. Let's head further south here. On our screens, D plus Kia trying to fend off versus squad in front.
Nades cast in, clearing out the close angles. Rame, bro, trying to split their mind between two decisions here. Do they play for the offense in case D plus Kia go in aggro? The DBS pulled out on the close angle. Weren't ready for that one as the chips are down. And the man's going to grab himself a royal flush.
DBS comes out, and when the chips are down, the chips come up here for D plus Kia, it seems. Very nice. The DBS, a hellish weapon to go against up in the warehouse where there's so many angles you can play off the back of. Kakali here, Vitali, sorry, for Minko, holding off versus CAG Osaka, who seem to have some kind of a lifeline injected into them. And with a sudden shift on the circle, that gamble for brute force has now just elevated in value a ton.
That's a plus EV play. Their stock's going to go up on that one. You can try and build yourself in the later the game goes on. Inko as well, still taking shots back down. COG Osaka, they're trying to move out, see if they can reposition from that rough spot they were left in with limited cover to work on. Rook also taking bullets towards the back as the fights are breaking out all over the shop.
Scary thing though, Jackie, IWNRX, 4 players still up on that eastern side. The Hoover, it's not done yet. This is industrial hoovering that's going on during these games. Sucking up all the points that they can in these matches. And they've set themselves up for great success on the outside. Now, you can see, well, you will soon, I hope. Over on the western side, I'll break it down for you in the meantime. There is so many teams that have sat themselves up, posted in Primorsk. Right now, IWNRX is one of the only teams outside the circle that is not in Primorsk. So if this shifts over towards the east, Jackie, then you have a case where IWNRX just controls so much zone. Twisted Minds, though, looking to take them back.
Oh, mate, the nade is what saves them. Twisted Minds. It looked like they were going to get a bullet through where their thoughts get processed before they could even clean up on the play they committed to. Zed Wolf was able to trace and track, and the nade is dashed back in. Near miss on that one.
Very close, dude. Another one pops over the top. He's jumping into it. Just about gets out the way, but the vehicle is sent down the hill.
He's got to tuck in, play medic now, reset himself. It was looking good for the initial engagement, but the longer it's gone on, Twisted Minds, it really started to slip through their fingertips, and they're so fragmented in terms of the setup. IWNRX, they've got range to play with, and they're going to start getting ushered in as well. It's not looking good for them.
Yeah, for IWNRX, they're playing a really strong position. I think Hygo understands he needs to get some more information on. This is a bold move from him. Ball immediately gets shut down, and I think it was too bold, in fact.
Oh yeah, there's an underline on that one. The font's 24 points deep, and it's not going to go well. You're really fragmenting your squad, losing so much manpower, down to a horrific position to try and recover from. You've got to call for the backup, the cavalry coming in inside of the vehicle. But IWNRX, they've been handling these fights. If they can catch them on the getaway as well, some bullets in the back, it could really ruin their time here.
Yeah, they've got to switch this into italics now, Jackie, because Obscure's only got Ratto Boy to lean on now, as they head themselves into Primorsk, which seems to be the general idea for most teams in the lobby. Falcons up towards that north side, another team that a lot of people thought would just head straight through to the main tournament. And here they are in the survival stage, not doing too badly, currently in 4th place as they lose a player.
Tongji Bao, an awkward fight for them. Constant nades barraging in, no easy getaway. You have to sit there and take the splash damage, and the shrapnel ruins their chances. So they're gone. Removed from the equation. Here we go, though. Falcons up on the hill. We've been talking about if they can spread their wings and start to cause some issues in a matchup like this. They got nades for it. Downhill battle. You should be in a good spot. Low HP as well. Just got to get him on target, and Chips is going to buckle on that one. Not as clean as it was previously for him. D plus Kia. They've whittled themselves down to just one man. A solo that's forced to try and think about the bigger picture. You know the fight's gone.
Falcons do look to be spreading the wings and flapping them, enveloping D plus Kia in a gale from upside the hill here, and they will be sent back via that tornado. Great play there from Falcons so far. I'm enjoying the position they're taking. They're taking control of this high ground on the northern side. They've had a similar idea to IWNRX, which they think that, look man, a lot of people are putting too much stock in Primorsk right now. So many players are going to have to try and escape this one as the circle heads further towards that north side. There is so much ground which is just free and open for CAG Osaka as well as Falcons just to manipulate. IWNRX now even shifting up on that eastern side. Man, the teams with all the points only seem to be getting more as Nobu is sent back to the lobby there with a nade that just bounces over the top. Falcons do not want to let a position like that go unpunished.
They want to keep themselves building, climbing up the rankings and guaranteeing themselves a good finish towards the end of the day. 3 elim points in the pocket. If they can keep this going, there might be something to be said about Falcons' resurgence here in the survival stage. A lot of squads nearby, though. They at least first onto the last man there and clean house on the engagement that kicked off a little while back. You can see it from the map screen, the spread that we've got here. CAG Osaka as well down towards the bottom side, with Moneymakers starting to move their way up. At one point in this game for Moneymakers, it felt like it was already pretty over. The fact they've still got 3 players to work with, maybe there's some longevity to it.
Yeah, it's a smart rotation and one that they could only have made in that moment. So many teams had already bottled their way into Primorsk, and they decide, look, there's some really good high ground we can play on that side. They've already pre-scouted a lot of this rotation back on the beachhead up towards the north, so they can potentially play off the back of CAG Osaka. It's a bit of a difficult one to go for, but I do like the way the Moneymakers are playing. Having Old Boy back in the roster, playing with the team, most likely, is the beautiful thing here. I think that's the main thing that I like to see, is that, you know, he's been on the bench for a while, but it feels like he's learned his lesson.
Yeah, going off the leash a bit too much, potentially the aggression, the overconfidence in some fights got the better of him. If he can shape up, fly right, help out the rest of the team, we know his gun skill can reign supreme in a lot of those fights. This is when we said goodbye to TJB. That was the nade that absolutely ruined their dreams.
Yeah, and that cleared out a lot of space for Osaka on that western side, which was much needed. I like this play from Falcons. They understand that this is a large amount of high ground that they've got to control on this northern side, so they leave Nerzed on his own, playing a pretty defensive position on the western side, but the rest of Falcons, they're trying to deal with the slow encroaching push that's coming through from IWNRX, who have already sent one of their players up towards that northern side, and Swain, he's just getting some scouting done, but I like that from Falcons. They're understanding they need to control both of these sides here. They cannot let players get up to that compound on the east. This is very well done. The circle, however, centers up. Now, this is a really horrible crossing towards this road that you can see on your screens. A lot of barricades in that location, the ticket boxes. It's going to be an awfully weird endgame. For some of the teams on the south side, they're lucky in the fact they've still got buildings to play with from Primorsk, but they'll have to fend off from the amount of teams that are going to be bounding, leaping, jumping from window to window from that south side, trying to claim some kind of position.
It's where that movement, that game sense, the understanding of how to weave your way around encounters and when to kick off a fight is going to do so much for you. A lot of these squads going to be crouching low, waiting like an animal to pounce in beast mode, and just biding their time. You can see it with a fragmented duo with Twisted Minds as well. They got to keep their bellies down to the ground. Only get stuck into an engagement if there is a confirmed way they can steal some points. Falcons on the move up, take some damage back on the top as well, and get in position. IWNRX are their challengers for this one, and they've got a nade to throw straight down onto them. They want to isolate and remove the fights from Falcons here.
Great play there from Frozen, opening things in a big way. And the thing is, Falcons made a smart rotation coming down to this small valley here. They wanted to cut off IWNRX, but that opener there is huge.
This could really be big for them. They want to commit off the back of the establishing damage done, but there's a shot back from Nerzed, the point man that we spoke about. We know that he can be lethal from a distance, and again, his injection comes through.
10 nades on action here. Looking to explode the guys from IWNRX backwards. Yes, they've lost a player, but they're not down and out just yet. IWNRX equally takes some punishment, and there's some more nades going to the top. Frozen lucky to get away from that one that he was in the buggy when he went past. I think that the guys on Falcons, they've got enough ordnance to potentially deal with this, but it's all starting to kick off down towards that south side. Brute Force open things up on towards Mad Bulls.
Near miss on the nade as well. And that's the difference of the utility having so much stock in an elongated fight like this. The constant smokes that provide a shroud for Falcons with the bombardment of nades that roll in. Spirit finally taken out as well. And everyone's going to have to get a bit of a move on here, Blank. Things are starting to heat up. Twisted Minds, they've been biding their time. And that's the backstab onto IWNRX.
Too much fighting happening in an elongated period of time there. And this is why that rotation for the Falcons was so smart. Getting into that little valley covers them from Primorsk. IWNRX need to finish out that fight quickly. When Frozen got that initial nade, I think they just had to jump on it. Instead, they wait around a little bit too long. There's been openings from the back line. And this might be the first game in a while where IWNRX does not just take the cake all the way home. They do get 5 eliminations on the match and probably a top 8 here. We'll see what more they can do, but I doubt it's very much. So I do like the way that Falcons played this one out, but Frozen not done yet. Ever since that initial grenade, he's been feeling it.
Oh, don't give him the opportunities. Don't give him the satisfaction. DBS in close range is going to be awkward from the distance that they've got, and Top was able to turn, set his attention back on them. You've still got Twisted Minds as well. That duo that's been crouching around, striking whenever there's a third party to fight on, and that's how we say goodbye to IWNRX.
For the first time today, we see IWNRX go out relatively early, let's say. Very, very nicely done from Twisted Minds, because we remember this is a team that was super hurt by IWNRX in the first place. They get some sweet, sweet revenge towards the end there versus Frozen. And Twisted Minds get to carry on as two with what is not a bad position right now to hold out teams coming through from Primorsk. It's really Brute Force that's on my mind. They've got 2 players, but they're in a horrendous position, surrounded by teams. And also, how can Falcons close this one out? They've got to be ever so careful here.
There's no room for error. Already in a few fights, it's looked a bit jittery, but they do isolate that engagement versus Obscure. They spotted him out on the hill. He's been getting away with murder for far too long, so now he's down and out. It's just Ratterboy that's left, and he was playing a completely different style of matchup, but the Bison claps back. All right, Falcons take a hit from the side. That's DRX from the distance.
DRX have had a super central position from the very start of the game, and controlling these compounds is going to be huge for them. They have 4 limbs, but they've just been trying to make sure they've got enough ammo here. You can see even just on the barrel, only just getting that refresh there for QXZ. So important, but yeah, this is basically a gated community right now for DRX. Playing also in the 3-story, I like that, having that outpost, you can always move back later on. Rattoboy is grenaded out of position. That will be Twisted Minds going out in 7th place with 3 elims.
Scrambled and out, tried as much as they could to push the initiative with the 2 players they had, but forced to fight. The exchange of nades goes against him. Like you said, that gated community evicting more and more tenants that live here. No rent to be paid right now. Old boy sticking himself back into the action as moneymakers are looking to get some stacks on this one.
Yeah, no, that's a power play right there. You take 80% of your HP, you don't pull out a first aid kit, you pull out the nade. You know you've got to send something back to give yourself a little bit of time, a little bit of presence here, and it has forced Nerzed off the position, which is what I like to see. Now, it is realistically moneymakers versus Falcons on this north side. Most teams on the south can't really afford to move out. DRX is just holding things in position. So we have these 2 isolated fights going on at the same time. Old boy takes another nasty hit. I think he's only got 1 more first aid kit as well. And Nerzed creeps ever closer now.
Belly down on the ground, trying to slowly close that distance but not reveal himself to different positions. He knows that these nades could be lucrative if they're on target, and Old Boy maintains his current position, trying to play for the heal. Meanwhile, Brute Force as well, taking shots from DRX.
big names been taken away by DRX so far, and they have just had a beautiful setup and the center of the circle for so long. Nice little transition as well from them to the compound that's further towards the center of the circle. This is going to be hard to dismount this team from. They're one of the few teams that has maintained 4 players for this long. However, we have seen DRX choke so many times before. There was a nice little knock that went through to the Moneymakers. Now just Havlik, a lot on his back to do.
And they know his position now. That was the last nade that was tossed from Nerzed, but it baited out the face. Ooh, Molotov as well, denying the opportunity to go in for a quick pick-me-up style play. Firing bullets out, trying to put the pressure back on them. See if he can plant those seeds of doubt and going for the confidence pickup. Knows that he has to keep Old Boy alive and really gambling on this one.
I like this play from DRX as well. They're moving up early. They're not just letting this fight go unhampered. But Nerzed, Spox Hyunbin, he's going down. This guy's on the swivel right now. Knows he needs to be dealing with the teams coming through from the open in Primorsk at the same time. The Falcons looking to put up big points this match.
The Rock'em Sock'em rope. Oh, there we go. That's going to take the head clean off. The nade's on target, but it's again an opportunity to counter back. Nerzed on the peak, good for 1. There's a trade from Havlik, but he's so low. He can't seize the opportunity that's been presented to him. He's got to drop back down, go for the quick pick-me-up, see if he can actually save Old Boy with the zone nipping at their heels and the paranoia about the peak from Falcons.
DRX cleaved in half. The great axe coming through from both Falcons and the Moneymakers at the same time. Can't feel too good about that one. Look at that. They retreat immediately back into their buildings. The confidence just isn't there, Jackie. They realize these warehouses are way, way too exposed. Falcons will finish off Old Boy and get the flush on it. Nerzed goes down. 2 players now for Falcons. Just the 1 on Moneymakers. They have held on for so long here, but the knuckles starting to go white in the grip.
And they might lose their grip on things if it carries on like this. If Havlik can do something huge, bit of a risky peek on the side as well, but he gets in the building, avoids the potential timeline where he goes down without even getting close to causing problems. Quick switching his way through the weapons, calling in for the backup. They know they need to find their way through this house. Shotgun up top, biding their time for the peek. You got nades raining down on you as well. They're looking lost in the clutch, lost in the fight right now.
For DRX, so this is bad news. The circle is pushing in. Havlik somehow keeping things alive for so long, but it will be DRX to come in and finish that one off. You got QXE over the top, a big task ahead of them.
This is what it all goes down to then. Can one man make a difference? Can it all be on him for Falcons to clutch it out? Or will DRX complete their legacy and take the win on this one? Grab themselves not only the elims, but the points for the chicken dinner as they find it and shut down the Falcons in 2nd place. A chicken dinner. It's a big point to take a chicken dinner under the belt as well. 4th matchup of the day. Only 2 games remaining for the opening day of survival stage, and they come out swinging.
Totally different type of Falcons that we're seeing though in the survival stage. Very much more what we're used to from this team. Intelligent maneuvers. I think Havlik just kind of outplays them at the end there. Really, really strong gun skill, mechanics in that location where he's holding on for dear life for so long and the Falcons just cannot deal with it. I think that was very, very well played. Again, Moneymakers make a very good rotation. Falcons make a very good rotation. I think DRX gets the win off a good position early game.
Yeah, they had the smarter setup, and in the end it does go their way. But yeah, that fight between Falcons and Moneymakers, man, there's always a timeline for me. When I'm watching Old Boy be able to survive and keep himself topped up, I'm thinking maybe things get crazy. And maybe the rest of the day will get crazy as well. When we come back after the break, lock yourself in for more PUBG Mobile.
The most important thing what we do is we kill Harami on contest. So tomorrow maybe they're not gonna jump. By the way, better than 0, huh?